Thanks for coming in. Fishing and Freedom. Yeah, I think you was too, Richard. YouTube is crazy, man. Thanks for coming in, buddy. 922 River Rat. Don R. Brandon. Tonight. Didn't go live while I was fishing today, so figure open up Tiki Lounge. Ain't done this in a while. Hey, Monty. Thanks for coming in. You guys know the deal. We talk about whatever. Fishing, hunting. It don't matter. Anybody else get out and fish today? Today up here it was windy, cold, rainy, and actually was fishing today with Adam Zimmerman, the owner of Cat Claw Rod Holders. What's up, Adam? On this, Adam, man, there's no telling. It can go from 2 hours or it can go till after sunup. We used to, there's several times we ran from 10 o'clock or 1 o'clock till 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. So, hey, Brandon, thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming in, Brad. There we go. Let's see. What's that?
Hey, kind of staying here a little later. We're just chatting about fishing.
There
But
you
I
go.
just I didn't know what time you were staying out till.
Yeah, I left at 4:30 today, and the bike died.
Yeah, hold on a
But
second. I gotta get off my YouTube or something. I got a double chat going here. I don't even know how to do that actually. My phone.
you just gotta close one out, and
All right, I think I got it. But yeah, I can stay in here about for 5 minutes here.
man,
But you didn't get nothing after I took off.
nah, I got a couple hits. That was it.
Yeah.
But nobody else. Nobody, man. They weren't pulling up the white bass at all.
No.
And there was still a lot of people across the river. See all of them just sitting there.
Yeah.
But nah, it got way too windy.
Oh yeah. Well, it looks like next week's supposed to be pretty nice though, or end of the week.
Yeah. My buddy's son, you seen that picture in the group chat, didn't you?
Yeah. Where was that at?
Man of the
Wisconsin?
walk. Yeah.
Dang.
30
How big
minutes,
was that
30
one?
minutes up 43.
How big was that one?
I have no idea. I
Looked
don't
like
think
it
he
was in
went.
the high 20s or 20s at least for sure.
Mm-hmm. Man, the whiskers on that thing was long.
Yeah.
His son brought that in. That's
Yep.
the Manitowoc River. They caught that one on, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Only thing I caught out of there is a freaking 4 pound channel cat. What's up, Dink? Indiana Chris Everett. Awesome, Chris. He said he's seen 2 steelhead caught today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's down there in Indiana. But yeah, man, I am. It got cold. The
Oh,
wind
I was
started
pretty.
blowing. I was like, "Yep, I'm leaving at 4:30." Man, I was
Oh,
packed up in 15 minutes and I was gone.
well, I got home and it was probably. I sat inside. I kind of unpacked some stuff and the sun. I came outside. The sun was out, and I'm like, dang, I should have stayed out a little longer. I don't know if it was like it must not have been like that by you, but by me
No,
it was pretty sunny and it actually warmed up a little bit. But yeah, that river, the we were pretty wet.
yeah, yeah, it was. It stayed cloudy there.
But you got some good fish. You got some good action, so that's all that matters. Getting a couple on the bank. You can have a
Yeah,
real good day and you don't get nothing.
yeah,
And so you did pretty good.
and the shrimp was the ticket today.
Yep.
But
I wish we would have had that live. It would have been pretty funny to see of when I threw my rod on the other side of you and we all thought
oh yeah,
we doubled up and there's actually one fish on 3 lines tangled
yeah,
up.
yeah.
But we ended up losing. It looked like a pretty nice fish you had on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cause he, man, both grabbed the wrong rods. Yeah,
Yep.
we got somebody else. There we go, Don.
Hi, gentlemen. Good evening, Chris Everett, Chris Indiana, Chris, Bonnie, all you guys, Gene. Oh, I'm beat tonight. I'm tired, but I need some relaxation. So I'm here with you. Do some relaxing, and I got my arm over here with the dog pulling on it. She's happy to be home, and so when she gets ready to go to bed, maybe I can. But
Mm-hmm.
we were at the funeral services, so we left her in the house first time for 6.5 hours, and she was a perfect angel. So never tore up
Wow.
nothing. So that was a big goal that we can do that with her, and not have to kennel her. But
Yeah.
hey,
Hey,
Rattle
Rattle
Trap,
Trap.
River Rat,
Yeah,
seen you in there.
man, the weather up here today was bad. Rain, wind.
Not bad
It was
here, but we had a lot of wind.
it was
And
cold,
that's
but
going to make short work of getting ice off the lake. It's turning pretty blue today, so I'd say
really
by the end of the week it might be opening up pretty good. So it's
nice.
time to start fishing. I need to get the boat out, need to get the trailer out, get it going, and I'm looking forward to some great times this year. Teaching old dogs new tricks.
Yeah,
Yeah, I took
weather was bad, but landed about 4 or 5 channel cat,
yeah,
and then Adam brought in that one drum,
yeah,
but we Yeah. Had a good mixture of bait. Had suckers, night crawlers, shrimp. Shrimp was the key today. And I had my Jules bait out.
That's what I heard. You know,
And
those drums
actually
aren't
later
bad.
on in the
You
huh?
take the drum out and you flay them, and they got such big flaky meat that when you marinate them, it really sucks up the marinade. And
Oh
then you
yeah.
put them in a smoker. They're not bad at all. In fact, I like them.
Yeah, they're good eating, especially the size Adam caught today.
Yeah.
That one he caught today was perfect size.
You know, they were excavating some Native American sites up here. And according to the size of the rocks in their head, they figured
Hmm.
they were running close to 300 pounds.
Wow.
Can you imagine hooking into a 300-pound drum? Ah,
Man.
you know,
I, I think that
old
would be
five
worse
pounder
than
thinks you got a whale.
yeah.
So,
That'd be like hooking into a Goliath
yeah,
grouper.
yeah. So they used to get that big in the river. I would suspect they're still there. People just don't realize that when they get a big fish on and it breaks their line, it may not always be a sturgeon or a paddlefish. It can be a catfish or, a drum or any of those fish.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Monty, that's a good combo, the cat claws and the guard dog.
so I'm looking forward to it. I almost sold the guard dog today. I took 14 up to the bait shop. You know, these guys, they just don't want to change their ways. So he's really leery about that they'll sell.
Mm-hmm.
But first guy that came in, he put the sales pitch on him, and I was standing there listening, and I didn't think fast enough. And the guy said, "Well, I can't use them. I fish for pike, and I like to let them run." Well, that's the way to fish for pike. But if you don't load your rod up very much and you set your trigger light, you'll just see that they're on there, and then you can let them run until they get that bait good, and then set the hook yourself. You don't have to use the guard hog to set the hook. You can just
Yeah.
use it as an indicator that something's biting on your line. And
Yeah.
so his theory, I kind of gave us food for thought. So I'm curious if he'll come back and get one. But yeah, the store owners seem to be kind of excited about putting them in, but really leery on whether they'll sell. So we'll see. I cross my fingers. I hope. And
Yeah.
you know, I never go to these big walleye tournaments, but I thought, I'm going to go, and they usually have them in a park somewhere, and I'm going to set up with the cat claws, set up a rod, and show them how they work and see what I can
Yeah.
do. Tell them, most of them
Yeah.
only fish with one pole because they can't watch two poles. And
Right.
with the guard dog, it shows them how they can, you know, have one pole there and not constantly be back and forth looking, and still tell it might be one fish, but it might be the fish that wins the tournament.
Yeah.
So I've been getting my thoughts together, and I'm really excited about this, and only because I think it's going to change the way half of the fishermen fish.
Yep.
And as they get older, they're going to appreciate it. They're going to appreciate it with young kids that got their nose in their phone and not watching their polls. So you have to watch them for them.
Yeah.
Uh, it'll just make it much easier for everybody. So I'm pretty excited about it. But
Yeah. I'm ready for this weather to warm up now.
yeah,
I mean, we had that 1 week of nice weather, and that was 2 weeks ago. That was a good fishing trip.
We're getting warm weather, but that northern breeze is just colder than crap yet. But
Yeah.
it makes ice on the lake shift, even on the big lake, and that breaks it down real fast. So if we get in
Mm-hmm.
the 50s and we get that wind, it don't take long, but there's probably still 18, 20 inches of ice on the lake, but that can go in
Wow.
a couple days once that wind gets working and the weather's right. So I'm hoping within a week it'll be opening up good and it's time for me to go fishing.
Yeah. But I can't complain. This year we're doing a heck of a lot better than we did last year. I just counted up how many fish total we caught within the last 2 weeks. We hooked into 14 and we only lost two.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So we got 12 cats on the bank this year already.
Yeah, I watched some of these guys and boy, they're about 50% on bites versus hookups.
Yeah.
I said, to me, that's what makes a fisherman is I don't lose that many bites, you know,
Right.
but the ones I lose are usually suckers because they'll come and bang, 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 and then they're gone. By
Mm-hmm.
the time you get out of your chair, well, they do that a couple times. They suck your damn bait off, and if you don't check it, you're sitting there without bait in the water. Well,
Yeah.
with that guard dog, that bang, 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 it's gonna hook them. But I'm not fast enough anymore to
Okay.
catch it. If I happen to be by my pole, I can.
Yeah.
Little suckers. Now they're going to be bait.
Oh man. But yeah, once it warms up, it should get. I mean, can't complain. I
Yeah.
really wasn't expecting much today, but got lucky.
Yeah, you've had some nice days too, though.
Yeah. I wasn't
Well, pretty
expecting to
soon.
catch too much, but five, and I didn't keep none today. I just did all catch and release.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like cleaning no fish when I got back to the house, so I was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I enjoy. I enjoy going out and getting some in the freezer, and then the rest of the time I can be real selective of what I keep and what I don't keep. And if I don't feel like cleaning them, I don't keep them.
right,
That's one of the rules I have. If you ain't willing to take it home and clean it and eat it, then don't keep it.
yeah. That's why today I was like, nah. I told Adam today's a catch and release day. Monty said he's made 3 small bets with 3 different fishing buddies last year, 2 poles each. Dog versus them fishing normally. The
Yeah,
dogs won
I
every
take that
match.
bet. I'm one of those that are pretty intense on watching my polls, but my neck doesn't work quite as well, and I'm always looking up at them and watching them real intensely, and I can just see it's going to be so much more relaxing for me to sit down and watch
Yeah.
them and watch that guard dog pop off. And
Mm-hmm.
so I broke one out and demoed it for the owner today, and he liked what he saw, and he's the one that was said, "Oh, they're illegal." So Marty was nice enough to go through. He beat me to it to go getting the Powell, the head man in the state. He said, "There's nothing illegal about that. As long as you don't have a automatic retrieve on your reel, nothing wrong with an automatic hook setter." And what
Right.
they tried to do was ice fishermen used to have their ice huts out there, and they would take and put those spring reels on them.
Okay, yeah.
And then they'd go home overnight and come back next day, and they'd have a fish hanging in the water from where the reel reeled them in for them
Yep.
and set the hook. And so that's what they were trying to get away from. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
know
makes
where
sense. Yeah,
and
Chris, you ain't joking. Even catfish fillets are outrageous.
yeah, I looked at them in the store, and they're farm raised. And
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of videos on the farm raised ones,
Mm-hmm.
especially tilapia. Boy,
Yeah.
that's nasty.
Yeah.
I I can't hardly eat them if they're farm raised now. I imagine some of them aren't so bad, but the tilapia come from overseas a lot, and those farms they're just in muck and
Mm-hmm.
where they raise them.
Yeah.
And even in the hatchery, once they're on pellets for so long, it takes about 5 days once they're released for their taste to get back to natural.
Oh, okay.
They just don't have the right taste. A couple guys, I was telling them I was going to scoop some out of the tank and take them home for supper, and they said, "You won't like them." He said, "Being on pellets, they just don't have the right taste." And it
Yeah.
was, oh, but
Yeah,
boy,
that makes sense though.
it was tempting those trout that were 20, 24 inches long and
Hey,
raceways.
Mark.
Tempted to get some. Good evening, Mark. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, it's I've had farm raised. It don't. I rather catch them out the river or the lake.
Yeah, it's. I watch that more closely now, whether it's wild caught or farm raised. And
Yeah. Now we got a. I don't know if it's still open or not. I ain't been out there in uh about 4 years. It's a trout farm.
hmm
That's some good. They taste all right,
yeah, yeah,
but
they're out.
yeah, catfish is totally different.
Yeah, if they're out in a 2.5, 3 acre pond and being fed something other than pellets, they'll
Yeah,
taste fine. But if they're a continuous pellet fed environment, they're not the same tasting.
right. And see, this guy's that the way he's got his place set up, it's natural fed spring, so he's always got running water.
Yeah,
He does. He's got some big trout in there,
yeah,
some real nice sized trout. I've
yeah.
seen. I've tried catching the real big ones to bring them home.
hmm
Yeah, those aren't so easy to catch. Put put corn on the hook and try catching them. They'll come up to it, look at it, and they'll just swim off.
Yeah, Chris, they do that too. But it's not the waters they're in. You can keep them in a raceway or something, but if you're feeding them pellets, the pellets are basically alfalfa and some fish meal and stuff. It's not a natural food for them.
Right.
So, like anything, cows or anything that's not eating natural, they're not going to taste quite right. You look tired, Lance.
Man. Yeah.
Come on up, Mark. I haven't talked to you for a long time. Been watching you, but
Yeah.
been envious of all them crappie you're catching. You've been catching crappie, and I've been having crappy days.
No, Mark, I ain't never fished the summer fairgrounds, but I heard it's some good fishing down there, but it's always elbow to elbow.
Yeah,
And I'm not I rather be away from people.
Yeah, I'm kind of that way too.
I mean, in Oshkosh, there's people fishing, but you can spread out, so it's not too bad.
Well, one of my bucket list things is go to the Oshkosh Air Show. And my wife don't want me to go because she just knows I'm going to come home with something. I've been looking at those little mosquito helicopters for years already.
Uh-oh.
I said, man, I could fly down the river and land on a sandbar and fish my heart's content.
Yeah.
I could go deer hunting and then I could fly in and take it out a quarter at a time. Yeah, I'm waiting for Mark to come up and spend some time fishing up here. See how many species of fish he can catch in a couple of days while he's here.
Yeah, you got that right, Mark. I might actually try this year I might go down there this year and try some burbot fishing down there. And probably because when the salmon run's going, man, these guys, they don't care. They're out there. But once burbot starts, once the run's over and I don't think too many people go down there for burbot.
Yeah, Chris, I just would love to go there. I tried to get my pilot's license a couple of years ago, but because of a medication I take for something totally different, it's also taken for seizures, so they wouldn't pass my medical. So then I got looking at, well, I'll do a sport plane or something, but there's no trainers up here for that. And it's like, man, you guys are just making it difficult. I think the best time I had flying was in a 52 Cessna with a all canvas. It didn't go very fast, but I loved it. I just thought that was the greatest thing since cornflakes.
Yeah, Brad, that's during the salmon run, that's king salmon, also known as Chinook. What's up, Maddie? Matt,
Good evening,
how you
Brad.
doing, Wally? Yeah, I can't believe I didn't get no salmon this year.
Well, you
That
might
was
have to
crazy.
come out here.
We hooked into last year's salmon run, we hooked into 5 total. Well, 6. And we didn't land not one of them. Just couldn't get hooked up to them.
Well, you come up here, we'll use a snap sinker and a guard dog, and we'll go for 7.
Yeah, this year, when I go burbot fishing, I'm gonna set up the guard dog, and I'm gonna set up the cat claw rod holders too, because when I'm out burbot fishing here, especially here in Sheboygan, there's not too many people out. This past winter was the most I've seen out there, and there's some Russian guys from Chicago, and the guy was like, "Yeah, we figure we take the family, bring them up here for vacation." They were staying at the nice fancy hotel right there, right here in Sheboygan, Blue Harbor. He was like, "Yeah, we seen on YouTube, seen a guy fishing in this area for burbot, and he was catching them." I looked at my buddy. I was like, "Man," my buddy was like, "Yeah, that was you. That was you." I was like, "Yeah, it must have been."
Yeah, I never got out to do any burbot fishing, but it's still not too late because the water's still that cold. They'll still come up in the shallows.
Mark, they said they were rushing.
922 said they had to kick him out of the plane. Hey, Bugman. Good evening.
Hey, here we go.
What's going on, gentlemen? And I mean
Well,
that.
hi, Mark.
And I mean that sincerely.
How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing all right. I'm tired, man. I've been getting ready for this trip. I'm sorry you're not going, bud.
Yeah. Audra's just so happenly Audra's next chemo is on May 10th. So
Right in the yeah.
yeah. There's
Well,
always next year.
There's always next year. What's up, Brad? What's going on, Bug? How you doing? So I've been getting all my stuff ready, just kind of slowly. I don't mind camping. I hate packing and unpacking for camping.
Yeah.
And then I always forget something, and I always bring too much stuff that I never even unpack. Isn't it the truth, though?
Yeah.
I pulled my compact slide out yesterday, the one I bought last fall when it was on sale. And I got a pack battery, like a 12-volt battery for it somehow. I'm like,
yeah.
So I got two flasher batteries that I'm going to bring. I wonder if they're 9 amp hours. Wonder how long they'll last. That's what I was out doing in the garage, getting some tackle to keep packing for the trip. Because I haven't done any catfishing yet this year.
Mark, I take those little battery packs I use for my depth finder and stuff when I'm ice fishing.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I hooked it up to mine, and it ran at about 24 hours.
I'm bringing, since it's going to be kind of chilly, they're saying, 60s, 70s during the day, but 50 at night. So I'm bringing my ice shanty, my insulated ice shanty to keep warm in it, right? And a heater. Cool. And that's got a light that I use one of those little 12-volt batteries for that. And then if I bring that compacts, I just use it sparingly. Either that or I'll pack a freaking a battery tender to charge them up while we're out fishing.
Right.
Or I could just run the cord out of my boat while my boat's plugged in charging too, I was thinking. So I don't know.
Yeah, now Harbor Freight's starting to sell those Jackery power
Are
plant.
they? I was on Harbor Freight looking for that today. What do they call them over there? Do you know?
They're Jackery.
Yeah, I just seen them in there about 2 months ago, and for less than $300, they had I think 500 ampere hour power plant.
That would be awesome. I'm looking it up right now. JACKERY.
Yeah, because I know Harbor Freight
get them for about
that. They got a 400 watt peak output, 200 milliamp for 279. They got 1,000 watt for 549. I spend that kind of money, my wife will kill me. No joke.
Yeah, if you look at those little batteries, how much they have compared to Jackery, it's not too bad a price.
Yeah. All right, so I had to decide today. Here's some of my problems. First world problems. I got so many catfish pulls, it's ridiculous. People are always offering to give them to me or send them to me or whatever, and I'm like, I got a 2-pole limit technically here. If I got a motor in the water moving, so that's considered trolling, dragon baits, I can have 3. Mm-hmm. I can have maybe 4 if I mark the 4th and the 3rd one as bank lines, with my name and DNR number and all of that. But it depends on the officer. So I'll do that at night,
Yeah.
Not trying to be sneaky, but it's just less chance of being harassed at that time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I got 26 catfish rods. I don't know. I don't know which ones to take. So I'm taking. All right. I got some rail splitters that that I got at CatCon 2 from the guys at Mudbum. Those are my favorite rods. Actually, I had somebody message me last week. They were offering to buy them off me for $200 a pop. That's
Oh, wow.
That's how sought after they are amongst a lot of the flathead guys around here. And I told them no. So I'm bringing one of those because that's my lucky rod. I'm bringing an Uncle Lou's. I'm bringing a Mad Catz, and then I'm bringing the one that Lyle built for me for my float rig. So those are the 4 I'm bringing. You can only have 3 up there. I know, Lance. 3 hooks, not 3 rods.
Yeah, 3 hooks.
3 hooks. So I like to have a spare. So I figure I'll
Yeah.
have those, and we'll be good to go. And a Freddy rod. I'm bringing a Freddy rod too, because I want to put a big channel on a Freddy rod and send him some pictures and stuff. And
Oh, yeah, that would be nice.
Good evening, Guerrero.
hey, Guerrero. Yeah, Brad says that Menards still has battery deal. I'll check them out too. But that Jackery really piqued my interest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they make some even cheaper, but I don't know the guts of them all. But there's some that are pretty reasonable price. But I think a 300 amper would run almost everything I have for.
It'll run all the lights. It'll charge my phones. No doubt about it. Now, do they have onboard chargers so I can just plug it into a at the campground and it'll charge while I'm out boating?
Right.
They do? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna have to take a beating for this one, I think.
I was looking at putting a solar charger on the top of my T-top and leaving it
Jimmy
plugged in
Geiger.
and running everything.
I've been so busy around here. I don't know how much fishing I'm gonna get done. It was funny because I went live and did some bait fishing, right? I did some pan fishing, and somebody in chat, I think it was it Jeep, said something to the effect of, "Oh my God, I can't believe we get to see Mark fishing." I'm like, you know how much I fish? These guys got no freaking clue. I just don't always go live, but then I'm like, you know what? I do not go live all that much, and I haven't been making any videos. So I don't know. I got to get on it this year.
Hey, Jimmy. Good evening.
What's up, Richard? Fishing and Freedom.
Hey, there's my buddy Richard.
Hey, Richard. Hi again.
Yeah, I broke down this year. I got me a GoPro 9, Hero 9.
Yeah.
Today, I didn't go live while we was fishing. Because me and Adam, we fished. I think he stayed till about 11 or 12.
Where'd you guys fish at?
Up in, on the Fox, up in Oshkosh.
Oh, nice. I need to get up there, go do some walleye fishing.
Man, you should have seen today. There were people all over that place going for white bass and walleye.
Hey,
And
Mark.
nobody was catching nothing, but we was pulling drum. Adam pulled one drum up, and I got 5 channel cats, 4 or 5 channel
Well,
cats.
you see, that's my problem with traveling. Let's say, you know what, Oshkosh for me, I want to say is 4 solid hours, I'm guessing, right? From the Wisconsin border, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
4
Easy.
hours.
Yeah,
travel 4 hours, and I don't want to stay in a hotel because a hotel will run you 150 at least these days.
Mhm.
Even the campground costs you what, $40-50 for the night. And I'm not cheap. It's just, the less money I spend on stuff like that, the more I get to spend on fishing,
Right.
Hey, Buck. Cotton picking. Good evening.
Buck Williams.
What's
Hey,
going on,
Mark.
Buck? What's up, Stephanie? God's truck.
A guy showed me a picture today of a guy that caught a walleye the other day here. 35 inches.
Wow.
Wow.
No, that's a walleye.
I have not a friend, but I know a guy through fishing on the Fox here. He posted pictures today that his wife got a 24-incher, which is pretty decent here for the Fox.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The slot limit where he was fishing is 21, 23 and above, and 2 between 15 or 15 and 20, I think. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, they're just starting to run into spawn, and in the
Hey,
river
Cotton
here,
picking.
they have a good number of big walleye, and they have a good number of little tiny walleye, but in between is not up to snuff.
Well, the little ones are usually the males, if I'm not mistaken. We would have to ask like Dam River Boys. He does a lot of walleye fishing. He would know better than me.
Yeah, we just had a couple bad years of reproduction, and so those years to you can really see it now in the sizes you catch.
You know, I got what in 2.5 hours. I'm up at the Dells. And then you got the Wisconsin River and Sauk. What is it? Is it Sauk Valley or what? Is it Sauk Valley that's just north of the Dells?
I can't remember.
It's Sauk something. I don't know if it's Valley or City or what. I don't know.
Yeah, money. I give my grandson a hard time. He lives just in Moorhead, across the river, and he was talking about fishing, and I said, "You know, you can't do that in Minnesota."
That's one river I want to hit this year for is the Wisconsin River.
It's a great river. I've never got skunked on it ever. I like that river. And you know what? That first crappie trip that I took, that I was that I went live. That was right there at what is it, Monona?
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice lake too. Right in the middle of Madison. Should I use a green or a red bead? Pick one for me, guys.
Red.
Red.
That's what I always use, anyways.
Yeah, Richard, you can use crappie in Wisconsin.
Ooh, I got like 30 crappie heads frozen.
Oh wow!
I'm bringing them.
Well, if you're gonna bring them to me. I'd rather eat them. I'll pay for you to buy some bait.
No, that's just the heads. I got 10 pounds of crappie fillets in the freezer.
I thought you were having a big cookout this weekend.
We had that already, and I cooked 2 pounds for that. It was just
still got that much left. Wow.
Yeah, I did pretty good this spring.
Yeah, the ones I watched, you were doing good.
And you know what? The best thing that I did is I quit using my electric fillet knife and just kind of battled through it and used a regular knife, and I got a lot better fillets, too, bigger and more. What's the word I'm looking for? Conducive, or they're just better fillets altogether. You know, I got one of them Rapala cordless lithium fillet knives for Christmas from my niece. My wife told him that I wanted one of them, so the three of them pitched in and got it for me, right? My Mr.
Nice.
Twister one works better than that thing, and that Mr. Twister one was only like $35.
Yeah.
Guerrero said it is the town you was talking about is Prairie du Sac.
Prairie du Chien?
Du Sac.
Du Sac. What's the dam just north on the Wisconsin River of the Dells? Guerrero.
Catfish Curtis. What I do with the jewels is I pack it on there real tight and heavy, and then I lay it in the water for about 30 seconds or so. And when I throw it out, it doesn't come off. If I just pack it on and throw it out, sometimes I end up losing it. But it seems like that water kind of it expands and tightens down around the hook better.
Yeah. And now they even got their blood frenzy, the newest bait out, which is it's in a pouch. I used that today.
I'd like to try that.
Got a few hits on that too.
My nose is so bad I don't smell it. But one head I was putting jewels off my hand, and I washed them good and everything. Took a shower and went to bed. And my wife said, "I smell something funny." I said, "I don't smell nothing." She said, "Well, maybe it's just me." I wasn't going to tell her that I was handling the jewels all day long.
You know, I really believe that stink bait works good. You usually got to be a little warmer water than what I have right now.
Yeah.
And you're usually not going to get monsters or anything from it, but it definitely works. But I won't fish
Mhm.
that stuff in my boat, man, because I really do not want to get that stuff on the inside of my boat.
Yeah, because that smell won't get out.
Well, I want my boat to smell like fish.
You know, my garage is what I'm worried about because it already smells
Oh.
like a bait tank when I get a floater in there.
Yeah, if I got somebody with me and they can drive the boat, I got the wash down pump, so I wash everything down pretty good on my way into the boat launch. And so far, so
Romero said when he's feeling lazy, he goes to the fish cleaning station and collects bluegill heads.
That'll
I
work.
never thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
Why are these? What the heck? These are all.
See, I can't even use that because if it's a game fish, I can't use any part of a game fish except the eyes out of a perch. Now, eyes out of a perch ain't going to give me a whole lot.
Perch eyes work great for everything else.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
that's my biggest restriction is the what I can use for bait. Can't use live suckers. Uh, but so
Wow.
I have to use them dead or cut bait, which is fine. But yeah, they really restrict what we can use for bait, and it doesn't make sense because there's so many suckers in the lake and the river system that I have a hard time catching one small enough to use for bait because I mean they're huge.
All right, fellas, I got to go get something out of the garage. I'll be back.
All right, Mark.
Well,
I don't
why
kill
you
a
pick up
dog
that
in here.
stuff first?
You guys stay. Quit knocking my stuff over. I'll be back.
Hi, you got an inside man, don't you, Monty?
That's good, Monty. I got an idea for a second. Now I'm like, oh, that's right. I can't use the heads anyhow. They put in bigger, heavier duty cleaning stations, but
Yeah.
they still have a hard time with those big catfish heads. I throw one in there and get it stuffed down in there, and it rawr, rawr, rawr. Whoops, woke up the dog.
Yeah, Buck, I've been wanting to start watching that show too. That rabbit hole.
What show is that?
It's Keith Sutherland.
Oh,
So it ought to, and it might be, should be pretty good.
well, Lance, I'm glad to see Tiki Lounge is open again. It was really kind of missed it.
Yeah.
Gets kind of late for me, but I'll try to be in there and support you and help you out.
Yeah, if I do like today, I went ahead and did it because I didn't go live at all today. So I was like, you know what? I'll go live tonight. Because usually I'm in bed by now.
Yeah.
I'm glad I looked through my stuff. I just went through all my pre-tied rigs, and they were all J hooks, and that's not what I want to use up there. So now I got to tie all new rigs. Unless I got them in here.
Well, just think, Mark, if you and the wife come up here, I got a room for you. I got food for you.
I
That
can't
would
get my
make
wife
it
to go.
almost worthwhile for the extra miles.
Wait a minute.
I got a boat you can use, or I'll take you out.
Nice. Well, we're going up to the UP in the fall. My friend Mark's sister bought 2 cabins out there that she rents out for like the BRBs or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
BROB. So we're gonna go out there this fall. So that's where I got planned with the wife to travel. Getting her to go out onto a lake is like pulling teeth. It's just not her thing, which is fine.
Yeah.
She doesn't.
Guerrero said that the dam north of the Dells is Castle Rock Dam.
Castle Rock. Well, I know there's Castle Rock Lake. I'll look for a second. I know. My buddy Eric, he fishes up there with Perrick all the time, and so does Jonathan. And I know that Redbeard fishes up there. Is it Sauk Village, maybe?
Oh, you such a beautiful girl. You such a beautiful girl. Favorite girl.
Trying to figure out what hooks I want to use, because I got already a bunch of pre-tied in here.
You becoming a real puppy.
Using circle hooks up at Mendota.
Yeah, I'm using circle hooks, but do I want to use 5/0? I don't think so.
I'll have to get your brush out and brush it.
I'll use 8s.
Yeah,
Clean
I'd
that.
use 8.
We're gonna give
I got plenty of mustad 8/0 tied up, but I don't think I want to use mustads. I want to use my Eagle Claws.
just that much. Good girl.
Which Eagle Claws do you use?
The L197s.
Okay.
I'll show them to you here in a minute. Once you stick one with one of them hooks, man, they ain't coming out.
Yeah.
I really I gotta get my finger in there when I'm hooking a flathead, and I gotta really use a lot of force to get them hooks out of them.
Wow.
They plant themselves pretty darn
Oh,
sturdily. I don't know what the word is.
yeah. You ready to go to bed?
Now, granted, I haven't tried all hooks, but those are the best that I've found. So I'll stick with them. I stick with what works for me. And they only make them up to an 8/0 supposedly, but I found some 10/0 on eBay that I bought, and they look identical. They must be knockoffs, just made bigger in China, and somebody bought them.
Yeah.
But they appear to be the exact same thing. Like these are the 10/0.
Is that good, Brad, or bad?
And these are the 8/0. No, these aren't 8/0. There's 8/0 in here. Well, would you look at this? Where are my 8/0? Son of a biscuit.
Yeah, I only use 6/0 at the most here, but once I get in that honey hole and get it figured out, I might go to a bigger hook.
Catfish don't care about the size of a hook. That's why you can hook a little tiny guy on a big old hook. They don't care.
Yeah.
No.
So if I come across a big fish and I need to get around their pad, I'm talking about flatheads, a small hook won't get around it. You could hook any fish in the corner of the mouth with a small hook, but you can't hook them in the pad. I've had I even have that one video, that 2-fisted flathead video I made. That's exactly what happened there. I hooked them in the pad, and that came out when I got them up to the boat.
Yeah, I like using the 8/0.
I think this year the 2 honey holes I got pretty well figured out. I think the size of my catfish is gonna go up drastically, I think.
Good, man.
So I'm pretty pumped.
Yeah, it'll be good seeing you out fishing, Don.
Yeah, I think this year I can launch my boat without falling in the water. Last year it was only, I swear it was about 40-some degrees. The water temperature wasn't much more. And I leaned over the front of the boat to unhook the chain so I could back it off the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And when I leaned over, I lost my belts and just kept going over. So I just dived in the water.
Wow.
I had a big, heavy coat on. I couldn't. It wasn't that deep. I couldn't stand up though. It was so heavy. So I grabbed the hold of the trailer and told the wife, pull the boat up out of the water and pulled me up on the ramp so I can get up. But that insulated sweatshirt I had on must have weighed about 40 pounds when it got wet.
Hey, Lance, since you use a lot of stink bait, have you ever seen these fuzzy things or furry things from Team Catfish?
Yeah.
They don't make them anymore, and it broke my heart. I got 12 left.
Yeah, those things are actually pretty good for the.
Yeah, for stink bait, they work wonderful.
Yep. You know what you can do is what I used to do when I used stink bait back in the day was just cut a sponge up. Just a cheap sponge. Cut little squares and then just slide them on the hook.
There you go. I like my bait to have fiber in it.
Yeah. That's why I like the Jules bait because it has that fiber.
Does it? Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
I think that works better.
That's
right,
cool, Brad.
I got to order some 8-aughts for this year because I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 left. Son of a biscuit. Hopefully the guy can get them to me if they're in stock because they sell out pretty quick. All right, this is a 10-aught and this is an 8-aught. Here's an 8-aught versus a 10-aught.
Ah, dang.
There's a pretty big difference.
Yep.
Yeah.
In these two.
Oh, yeah. That is a big, big difference.
Sorry, guys in chat. I don't mean to be ignoring you. I just got my eyes busy.
Hey, David Smith. Thanks for coming in, buddy.
What's up,
Hi,
David?
I know this year I'll be able to get my first flathead.
Yeah, you're in good hands with Adam.
Yeah.
He's got a good spot up there. And he catches them all from the bank, if I'm not mistaken, or for the most part.
Yep. We was talking about that today. And last week, I won't go live from the one spot. There's one spot I was told about by a local guy up in Omro that I won't go live from, but I'll have pictures. But he told me exactly when to go, and he showed me what they catch out of that spot. It's on the Fox River, but I mean it. He was like, just please don't go live. I said, hey, no problem. I'll get some pictures. I'll get pictures. I don't need to go live when I'm fishing that area, that one spot.
Yeah, Brett, I'm still adopting to eater catfish to trying to catch a bigger one. So I'm at 6 and 8-aught now, and hell, the 6-aught, I'll catch a 1 pound catfish on it. They don't care. So I've been
today
getting bigger. But last time I went fishing from shore, went for catfish, I caught 3 sturgeon in a row. Two pellet sturgeon, which are on the endangered species list up here, and 2 boy, I'm getting tired. What's the other sturgeon? Anyway.
White sturgeon or a lake sturgeon?
No, they're river, but the one is endangered and the pellet's endangered. The other one's on the list too because they look so similar. People don't know the difference. So
Oh,
that kind
wow.
of showed me that they might be coming off the endangered species list real soon. We had a 25-year program to pellet sturgeon, and they didn't spawn any out last year. Year before, we spawned out 3 females, and the problem was that we had a lot of sturgeon, but they were just getting bigger family trees, and they were starting to crossbreed. So if that happens, then they'll just collapse and go away. So
Hmm.
they've been 25 years. They've been mixing and matching and starting new family trees. And the last year we spawned them, we started. What was it? We had 3 females, and we took the melt from 2 female males that were their DNA was over. Were back before the dams were ever built in the Missouri River, and we spawned out about 8,000 eggs here, but it went to different hatcheries too. And so last year they didn't do any. So I'm thinking in the near future we're going to be able to keep the sturgeon. People think they're garbage fish, but that's probably one of the best eating fish you'll find in the river system. As long as you don't cut through the backbone, you cut through the backbone, that juice taints the meat and it doesn't taste, takes all the sweetness out of it.
I had sturgeon a long, long time ago out of Lake Michigan. I don't even remember what it was like.
Oh, you eat it. You cook it or smoke it or however you eat it. It's if you do it right and don't overcook it, it has a slight sweet taste to it, like your shellfish do, the shrimp and lobster and stuff like that. So I'm excited. I hooked into one big one last year, and if I'd have had a guard dog on, I would have caught him. But I had my back turned to my pole, and I was rigging up my other pole, and I seen this fish come out on that side of the boat and kind of roll on the surface. I thought, what the hell? And then the second time he came out and rolled on the surface, I knew it was big fish. I was thinking catfish, but I was thinking probably 25, 30 pounder. And I looked back and my line was limp and I reeled it up and here it went around underneath my boat and up the other side. Well, when I reeled down, he had rolled in the line. As soon as I put pressure on his scuts with them sharp edges, just cut my line off. But he had to be
Wow.
about 40 inches long. And it was like, oh man, if I'd only known he was on there.
I got my first sturgeon that same week Stan caught his big one.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm like, well, there goes my thunder. It was a 48 incher.
Yeah, the pellet sturgeon and the shell-nosed sturgeon here don't get that big. But the shovel nose at average, they're only about 5, maybe 10 pounds at the most. But when I was on the West Coast and catching the white sturgeon, man, I love
James
it.
Dockery has this Missouri state record for shovel nose.
Really?
Yep.
That don't surprise me though.
Yeah, we had one in
a lot of fish.
we had one in the raceway that was probably about 15 pounds or so. It was big for a shovel nose.
Yeah.
And they're such gentle giants that when I'd take people on tours, I would reach my hand in the water and put it underneath their belly, right up by their gills, and slowly raise up, and they'd come right up to the surface, and people would be able to pet them and touch them and feel what they feel like. And then they would, when I let down, they would just swim away. They watch them in the aquarium, and they let our fish swim all over them and touch them. They're just gentle as can be. And the two of them,
Until you get them on the end of a hook.
yeah, two of them when they recognized me coming in, I'm sure they did. They would come and stick their nose out of the water about 4 or 5 inches, and I would pet their noses. And it was just like a dog. They'd come up, I'd pet their nose like they get a sniff from me, and then they just slowly shake down and swim off. No excitement. But the trout, boy, were they skittish.
Trout are fun to catch. I don't care to eat them too much.
They're a skittish fish. You have to be on your game. Well, crappie are too. They're kind of that way. You have to. I seen one in clear water. That sucker stood there and looked at my bait for a long time. And I just moved that bait a little bit and he'd nail it.
Richard said a Missouri guy caught a 48-inch lake sturgeon the other day.
Nice.
Yeah.
He said they're rare around there.
Yeah, the lake sturgeon get a little bit bigger than ours do. But
They
when I was in San Francisco, we'd fish for them, and we'd catch some pretty big ones from shore, and it was always a lot of fun. Not many, but we'd catch one every once in a while, make the whole trip worthwhile.
Yeah.
I'm shaking my head at me, not you guys. I do this more often than not. I always set up these rigs. I've been trying to use these rattles a little more. And I always forget to put rattles on, or beads and rattles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had some rattles on. I had a spook on one of my rigs today. It must have worked. I don't know if it was the rattle or the bait I was using. I was using cut sucker and shrimp, so
I won't use a spook unless I'm in current.
oh, there was current. Man,
Yeah,
I'm throwing 10, 11 ounces and it ain't holding.
Yeah, I see guys use these spooks in lakes with no current, and I have no idea how they're able to catch fish because mine always turn into knots.
Yeah. Yeah, the Fox River right now up in Oshkosh, that whole river system is just moving like crazy.
Good evening, Kelly. Bad. Yeah, that's like in our lake. Everybody thinks there's no current, but if the wind's been from the west for a couple of days, those east side of the lake, those bays have a good current coming out of them because it pushed that water up in there. And when the wind dies down, that water flows out. And if you're using like a slip bobber, you can really see how much current's coming out of there. Most people don't think of being current in the lake. And along the main channel of the river, there's always you go ice fishing out there and you drop your line down and you notice it goes way off to the side. So there's current down there.
Yeah, the past
river where you can see it.
The past month, I've been throwing 10, 11 ounces.
Wow.
And that just ain't holding. I'm actually surprised the Uncle Lou medium light actually handles good 10 ounces, 11 ounces.
Kelly wants to know what your hours are, Lance.
Huh?
Kelly wants to know what your hours are.
I need last I checked, I need 1,400.
Hey guys, give me a second. I'll be right back.
All right. Yeah, because we got that 1K. I need the watch hours. Before it, I had over 4,000, but then I didn't have the 1K and it reset. Now I need 1,400, I think it is.
Well, we'll get you there, buddy.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I would have went live fishing, but it was just too windy. I didn't feel like setting a tripod up, and my I would have set up 2 tripods because I would have set up my GoPro and then I would have set up my phone for going live, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel like dealing with the wind trying to watch 2 tripods.
Yeah, I got a good deal on a Hero 8, and I'm still trying to figure out how it works with the phone and everything and how I'm going to use it.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to find my old one to get the adapters out so I can put it on the tripod, and I can't find the old one. It's
Huh.
a Hero 3 or 2 or 3. Pretty old one.
Yeah, David, that sucked because I had like a little over 4,000. I think I had like 4,100 watch hours, and then it just when it reset, it dropped me way down. But I think I figured out what I'm gonna do uh, to secure my tripods, even when it is windy. Hey, Mr. Molina, Tim Molina,
Good
what
evening,
I'm gonna
Jim.
do? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go buy some tent stakes, and I got some twine here at the house, and I'll buy six more tent stakes, and then I'll just put 1 tent stake on each tripod leg and just tie it to it and pound the tent stakes into the ground and just tie the tripod to the tent stakes so that it stays upright even if it's real windy. Because this year, like I said, I broke down and I uh spent money on a GoPro 9. So, and that's what Randy Cora said to get because he said he likes that the best out of all the ones he's got. And then he told me what memory card to get and everything. So,
Yeah, Chris, I got a fairly cheap tripod at Walmart, and on the bottom of the main shaft, it has a hook where you can hook a weight and stuff on it. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. So I got a way to strap it down if it's windy. But the other one was real cheap, and well, I used it about twice before the adapter for the phone, that plastic busted off, and it was during a tournament, so I was trying to jury rig it to work, and it was one of those days.
yeah. Yeah, I had to buy a new tripod. I got the same one I had to replace it. So what I'm gonna do, the GoPro comes with a adhesive mount. I'm gonna take off the
Yep.
old phone, the old I'm gonna take off the old cell phone holder and I'm gonna just use that adhesive mount for the GoPro and use that tripod for the GoPro and use the new one for my phone.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do this year, Buck. Either that or just a canvas bag that I can dump out when I go home. We have a lot of rock.
Yeah, Buck, I learned that a long time ago too.
Yeah, I was feeling good. Last week I broke 300 subs finally.
Good for
And
you, man.
when I checked day before yesterday, I lost 12. So I'm back below 300 again.
What's up, Tim Molina? How you doing, my friend?
I lose more subs than I keep.
Yeah, that happens.
But I don't have to worry about watch hours and stuff. I'm just having a good time. I got good people subbing to me. They've been there and supported me, and that's all I asked for. I just having fun.
Got to count my raps because I'm old and I'll lose count easy.
Thank you, Chris.
Prairie du Chien, maybe that's what it is, Guerrero. I haven't had a chance to look it up. I'm trying to get these tied.
Man, this week has been a stressful week for me. My mom had major heart surgery the beginning of the week.
How's she doing?
Well, I talked to her a couple days ago, finally, because the day of her surgery, it took over 24 hours for her to get back to normal after giving her all the putting her under and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
So-
you, Brewer.
My father had a hard time with anesthesia too after he came out.
Mhm.
Only he was a little different. He came out wanting to beat everybody's ass.
Yeah, it took over 24 hours. The anesthesia just because she was under for 7 hours, my baby sister was telling me.
Yeah, it takes a long time to recover from anesthesia. You don't realize it, but if you start having a couple in a row, you're finding that it takes a long time to get your poop back in you.
Yeah. And so they waited a couple days, and I think it was yesterday they did another surgery on her because it was the main artery from her spinal cord to her brain. They had to do, she had 80% blockage there.
Ugh.
So they got that done, and she's doing good. So I'll probably call tomorrow and talk to her. I mean, hate to say, the one good thing about her going and having the surgeries done is finally talked to my two brothers that I ain't talked to in over 10 years. So, and she's stubborn, man. She's like, yeah, they're telling me I got to do rehab for my heart. She was like, I don't know if I'm gonna do it though.
Yeah.
I was like,
just like that.
you ain't got no choice. She'll only be 60. She'll be 64 this year.
That's still young.
Yeah. The woman's, man, she's been through a lot. She was my age when she had a massive heart attack, 99% blockage. This time she had 80% blockage in what? I don't know how many of her arteries in her heart.
Thank you, Kelly.
As long as they can get that stuff well, apparently they did get that stuff taken care of because it's been a long time since she had it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this past week though, the doctors told my baby sister and my two brothers that and my older sister, one of my older sisters, that the blockage was so bad, it was like granite. It was like, wow. But she's stubborn. She's diabetic. She don't eat right. And she was like, yeah, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to. I said, that's not what I heard. She's like, oh,
They always say that. Even I say that.
yeah, me too.
You should see my poor dogs. They're like, because one of my poles fell over here a little while ago.
Uh-huh.
They're cowering in the corner. We had I don't mean to interrupt you, but since I got this on last night at about 1 a.m, the little one found out what happens when you bite through an extension cord.
Wow.
I never heard her yelp like that in my life, but she yelped.
How old are they now?
10 months.
Jeez.
You should see them. They look so pathetic and scared in the corner. Poor dogs.
Yeah, there's a lot of good people in here. Share your links and let's hook up.
Hi, David. What's up, buddy? Yeah, she's fine though. Well, I'm glad your mom's doing better. Hopefully, she'll be able to shake that anesthesia off. What else happened to you this week?
I just watching over Audra now.
Yeah, that can't be easy. My wife's been sick for a long time. She's finally getting better. So, I mean, I understand that. I'm talking 12 years. So,
Wow.
So
hey, Johnny Paul Pepper.
Hey, Johnny.
But I mean, a couple weeks ago, she was out fishing, so
that's good.
Yeah, she got a new PB channel cat. I mean, 8 pound.
Heck, that's respectable.
Hey, Adam.
Yeah. And then this week, she got a new custom rod from Muddy River Catfishing from Chris Flores.
Yeah, Chris showed me the custom one that he made when I was talking to him at CatCon. Pretty nice looking stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're nice. That rod, I couldn't believe how light that rod is. So she's got a rod I don't even have. She's got a Muddy River rod. I don't got one of them.
Speaking of rods, you guys hear that Spencer isn't using Whisker Seeker rods anymore?
Really?
Yep. In his last video, he mentioned it in passing. I was like, wait, what? Rewind.
Yeah, that's all he used to use.
Well, they backed him from when he was a pro staff for them back in way back when he first started. I remember watching him. He had like 1,700 subs when I started watching him. Him and Denny. And Denny was running the pro staff program for Whisker Seekers. And he got Spencer in there. And I guess, the pro staff positions, they give you some gear. They give you discounts on gear and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't claim to know anything as far as what's going on, but what I'm seeing in the industry is, these guys that have got big channels and stuff, they're wanting to get paid. It's understandable.
Right.
And it should be easy enough to do for a tackle company to create an affiliate program. Like, look what it did for Big Cat Fever, man. Those guys took off like a bat out of hell since they started that affiliate program. So
yeah,
there's a lot of different opinions on what anglers are deserving of or not, but
mm-hmm.
I'll keep my opinion to myself.
Do you see that new Mad Cats rod?
Which
Michael
one?
Burkhart?
Oh, it's out. I got to order two.
Yeah, man. That's a sweet looking rod. I was like, oh my God.
What color
Yeah,
is
they
it?
released it. I think they released it yesterday.
Hmm.
And people were they were posting on the Mad Cats page on Facebook that they're ordering them like crazy.
They're probably sold out.
Yeah.
If they're not sold
I'll-
out, I will order two. If they're sold out, I'm buying a Jackery. If you guys noticed in Spencer's videos the past year or so, he's been using that new $250 bait station from Whisker Seekers, which is a lot of money. I mean, it's packed
Mhm.
with, hold on, it's packed with all sorts of features, lithium battery, solar charger, USB ports, the whole deal. It's a pretty nice, it's a well-rounded out product, but $250 is a big pill to swallow for anybody.
Yeah.
He was also using rods that aren't on their website, so he was probably testing some rods as well for them. And I have a feeling that might have something to do with the falling out, if that's what it is, or if he just got a better deal somewhere else. I mean, he hangs out with Josh over at Pig Patrol, and I know Josh has got a good deal with 6 Cents. These guys do this stuff full time. It's their job,
Right.
A lot of people frown against creators trying to make money and stuff, but don't be ashamed to make money. That's how this country was built. We're a capitalist society. This isn't a communist society. There you go. I said it.
Heard you the other night. You was talking about having pro staff as guests.
Yeah, I'm working on a show when I get back from Mendota. What I was thinking, and usually I don't share my ideas, but I need to get some pro staffers for the show. I was going to do a pro staff show, and hopefully have like 4 pro staffers on there. We could talk about what it takes and what's required of you, this and that, and hopefully the company that they pro staff for is willing to give some to the people in chat. So that was kind of my idea. That's at the high level. So if anybody's interested and you're a pro staffer, obviously I'm not going to have like 4 pro staffers from the same company. So
Right.
So I was going to reach out to a bunch of guys and see if they'd be interested. I got one big guest that just contacted me on Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. I'm going to keep that one under my hat, but I'm really excited to get this guy on there. Really excited. That was one of them Hail Mary emails I sent out, not thinking they were going to reply. And then I opened up my email in the morning and there it was like 2 weeks later. I'm like, hey, all right. I got turned down by another real big YouTuber / fisherman, but he says that he told me, he's like, hey, Mark, I watch your show. I'm like busy this time of year. Holler at me again, and such a date and we'll get
right.
it. That's good. So yeah, I mean, I've missed a couple of shows and stuff. That's just because a couple of reasons. Either I got something that I got going on personal. Nothing's happened personal that was like life threatening or illness or anything like that, but just stuff I needed to get done, or I just couldn't. I couldn't provide a show that I'd be proud of, so I'd rather not do one. As crazy as that sounds, it's just kind of how I operate. So
yeah, Brad said if you need someone, he'd be glad to be on your show again.
I kind of thought he might.
Buck said he's pro staff for Breyer's Ice Cream. They just don't know it.
Hell yeah.
That's all right, honey. That's all right there.
I was thinking, my wife has got some Haagen-Dazs in the freezer. Thought about having some of that, but not if I'm buying a Jackery. She's going to need that.
Hey, BFA.
Adam, I think I said hello to you. What's going on, Bank Fisherman's Adventures? Adam, bring me three rod holders to Mendota, bud.
Yeah, he brought two. He brought two up to me today.
I don't do much bank fishing, but when I do, it's nice to have good bank rods
Yeah.
or good rep bank holders.
Yeah, there's one guy. He seen my setup. He's like, "Where do you get those rod holders?" I told him, and then Adam gave me some papers with info on there. So I gave the guy one. So just contact this guy, and he'll hook you up with them.
There you go.
So I hope I got you all. Hope you all hook up with one another.
You better have me, John.
Oops.
So what's going on in chat?
They're talking about ice cream now.
We all love food, don't we?
Yep.
Now this makes me nervous, Lance.
What?
I only got 2 hooks left.
Oh man.
I got some mustads. If worse comes to worse and I run out of hooks while I'm up there, I'll just use those.
Yeah. Mustads ain't too bad.
I really do like mustads. They're just undersized, but you know what? An 8-ounce mustad would be perfect for those channel cats up there.
Yeah.
About it.
Man, I still got some of the Uncle Lou hooks. Which are some nice hooks. I got so many hooks, it's unbelievable. I got a Reaction Tackle extra large tackle bag.
Nice.
That thing's got 19 pockets.
I would never be able to find what I'm looking for in a bag like that, to be honest with you, because I'm such a numbskull.
Yeah, what I'm gonna have to do is actually write down what's in each pocket and keep track of it. And I got that thing holds the Plano tackle boxes, the 3700 series. It holds 12 of those.
Holy smokes.
Hey, Lance, Adam wants a link so he can come up.
All right, let's see. So yeah, that tackle bag, it's nice.
You know what I've been meaning to do, Lance? Not that I'm telling you what to do, but I have been meaning to actually get my label maker out and label each one of my 3700 boxes. You know, so I don't have to look through. I don't have to pull them each out of my bag or off of my shelf. I know what's in them.
That makes sense because I'm always pulling them out.
Yeah, it's a waste of time, man.
Yeah. And today I gave remember those slide rigs I introduced to the catfish community?
Uh-huh.
I gave Adam 2 of them to try out. See if he likes them. Like I told him, it would work on it'd work good for flathead fishing, especially around structure.
I was going to use those, Lance, and I have a perfect spot for them, but I can't get casted out far enough to get them to where I want them to be. I thought, wow, I'm rigged now. I can cast out, and boy, I sent it sailing, and I thought it was going all the way out to the where the intakes were,
Uh-huh.
and it dropped about halfway.
Oh, wow.
But I'm up on a wing wall, so there's a lot of drop from where I'm fishing down to the water.
Yeah.
And I thought, boy, that rig would be just perfect. And I'll try it
Mhm.
again, but I've been improving on some of the stuff. But
I mean, Steve Adams, he uses it on the Mississippi. He said he casts
yeah,
about 40 or 50 yards further because all you're doing is casting that sinker.
yeah,
Yeah, I'd be worried. You know, I'm always worried about casting my big old live bait off if I chuck it out there, which is probably one of the reasons why I do a lot of close combat stuff. Also, I don't know. I guess I'm crazy a little bit. I think if you got a line 70 yards out, and I've learned this from dragon baits, there's more of a chance you're going to lose that fish on the fight.
hey, Apache, long time no
Mhm.
see.
You know, like dragon baits, you can't avoid it. You know, you got to get back behind the boat. But
Yeah,
if you're anchored up, I don't like to have my baits out that far.
right.
Bank fishing's another story. You're trying to cover a lot of ground because you can't move. You know.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I love shore fishing just as much as I do boat fishing, and they all have their own ways, their own. You know, I have poles for when I fish off the boat. I have poles when I fish offshore. But there's nothing I like more is going out in the evening and throwing a pole out from shore and just sitting there and enjoying things.
Right.
The boat's a lot of work. You know,
Yep.
you got to make sure it's anchored right. You got to make sure it's laying right. And
Yep.
where I like to fish, it drops from about 20 foot of water to 85 foot. And my anchor isn't good for deep water. I don't have enough line on it. So I try to anchor on the top side and cast out to the other side.
Yep.
And if I get anchored right, I'm good to go. But it's not easy. You still have to watch if that anchor pulls out and goes off that drop off. You just got an anchor hanging and you're on the drift. And that drives me nuts.
Especially after you get all your lines out and the thing breaks free and it starts drifting or something. It's like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Good evening,
work-
Adam. Turn your
I work-
camera on.
I work pretty hard at getting my boat set up so fishing's as efficient as possible. What's going on, Adam? Unless he's logged out,
Good evening, bank fishing.
lagged out.
Yeah. You there, Adam?
What's up, Apache?
How you doing, Apache?
Yeah, Apache hadn't been around a whole lot lately. Good to see
Yeah,
him.
he said he's been working a lot of hours.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are doing that,
Yeah.
and I'm lucky. I'm retired. I don't have to worry about working anymore.
Good for you.
Man, my baby brother, when I talked to him the other day, he's talking about retiring in 5 years from Walmart. He works at one of the distribution centers in Texas.
Uh-huh.
But he's been with them since he got out of high school, so he's been there 15 years already.
It's surprising they don't sell any live bait.
Yeah. But I asked him why you thinking about retiring from there. He goes, "Man, I've been an order filler for 15 years. I'm wore out." I was like, "You're only 33, man."
Jeez.
Yeah.
I remember 33, kind of.
But yeah,
All right, fellas, I'm gonna let these dogs out. I'll be back, and I got to get some more supplies, so I'll be back.
all right, Mark.
Yeah, I
So
worked
yeah,
over 35 years before I retired. And
when he
added it
retired,
all up, and it's enough to keep me going, but not anything extra.
yeah,
And
he knows. When he retires, though, he's gonna have a good, nice, because he'll get retirement from them. That and the stock. He he invests in their stock, so he'll be doing. I mean, him and my other brother, our other brother, they went in together years ago and bought a. They had a house built, so they went half and half on the house, and so he's like, man, I think I'm gonna retire from Walmart and find something else to do in 5 years. I was like, well, yeah, you can't stay fully retired.
well,
In
it's
five
good to
years,
see
you
you,
only be
Apache.
38.
Yeah, up here, upholstery is few and far between. I wanted to get my old pickup, the seats just repadded and done, and they wanted like $1,200 for it. And it was like, whoa, that's a lot of money just for one little Colorado pickup bench seat. But it was the only guy in business doing it, so he kind of gets what he wants.
Yeah. Yeah, see you later, River Rat. He said it's raining there.
Yeah.
The rain's getting bad where he's at, so I guess he must be out chasing fish again. Oh yeah. I'm ready to man, I just went fishing today. I'm ready to hit it again. But I got stuff to do tomorrow.
Monty thought he was retired 2 years ago. Yeah, I retired in 2005, and about the year before last, I finally put it down and I said, I'm retired. I'm not taking on anymore. But I did more things after I retired that they didn't pay well, but there were things I wanted to do, and they were fun. But I couldn't make a living off them. So being
Yeah.
retired, it made I drove school bus and I got to go to drove all the game bus for the kids, and my grandkids were playing ball, so I got to see all the games. And I did a
Yeah.
postal route, and I worked in the oil fields driving big rigs, and now that paid the bills, but
Mm-hmm.
I got sick and had to quit that, and then I opened a little bait shop and did that for a few years, and it just didn't catch on real fast. And when I got sick, I finally shut it down. But it was fun. I wasn't making any money, but it was fun doing it, and that's what was nice about retirement coming in. I didn't
Yeah.
need to do them, and all these fun things that you can do, I was able to do. So
Right. Yeah, I'll be 43 this year. Still got a few more years.
yeah, I'll be 71.
Yeah.
And I still got that. You get that in your blood, good working habits and stuff. It's hard to just let it go
Yep.
and let somebody else do it when you know you can do better than some of these young guys.
I mean, like now, I ain't worked on the weekend in 2 years now. I work Monday through Friday, and now it's even better because I only work from 7 o'clock in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. So getting off at a decent time.
Yeah, I think my youngest daughter is going to be 46 this year. My youngest grandchild's going to be, I think, 28.
Let's see, my mom,
Yeah,
man,
Brad, you a baby.
yeah, my mom's oldest granddaughter, her oldest grandchild is 33,
Yeah,
or my niece will be 33. Heck, my mom and dad's got over 20 grandkids.
yeah.
I mean, my dad's been gone this year going on 13, 14 years.
I think my oldest great grandson is going to be 12, and my youngest great grandson will be about 10. And I got another one that's going to be about 3. So I got them spread out all over.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom's got 20 grandkids, and I know of one, two,
But
3 great grandkids.
yeah, yeah, it's nice. They're my great grandkids are just coming in age to take them out and teach them how to fish on their own. You know, you do it. You don't have somebody else do it for you. So,
Right.
and I took one of my great grandsons out last year, and actually, I let my wife do it. She took him out and taught him how to use something more than a Scooby Doo rod to go fishing and throw a crankbait out and reel it in. And
Mm-hmm.
it didn't take him 3, 4 times, and he was casting that thing just as far as I could. I just wish he'd have caught something while he was doing it. So I keep planting the seeds in these young ones. To Mother's Day, where I'm having a big giveaway for all my kids and grandkids and great grandkids, and I give away a bunch of tackle because it's not cheap for them to get started fishing.
Yeah, not nowadays.
Yeah, especially terminal tackle.
Yeah.
And so I go through all my boxes and get them down to what I need for the year, and I always have extra, so I bag them up. And then I think this year I'm going to do the Wheel of Death with their names on, and then they can pick a bag, and they never know what they're going to get. It's, but I got some poles and some rod holders and stuff for them, and of course I'll have to throw a few guard dogs in there.
I know, man, when I was into bass fishing years ago, I had one tackle box. I had like 3 or 4 different tackle boxes for bass fishing alone. One of my tackle boxes was probably anywhere from $1,000 to probably $1,500 worth of lures in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go through and sort mine out. I got a lot of doubles and triples of everything, and I'm just going to pass them down to grandkids. But my idea is you bring your tackle and your stuff, don't sponge off me. It's expensive taking them out, and we go trolling for pike or something like that with crankbaits, and they lose 2, 3 of them each. It's by the time I get home, it's like, man, that was an expensive trip.
Oh, I bet.
And most of it's just because they're not paying attention to their poles.
Yeah, exactly, Brad. Nowadays, that's bait fishing. But Yeah. See, and back then I used to race RC cars too. So I
Yeah,
was in some
Monty.
expensive hobbies.
Yeah,
But
Monty. I went through
I
that with
grew up doing
tools.
both of those.
I'd give them
You-
tools, and then they'd come around. Oh, I need this tool. And then I'd loan it to them, and I'd never get it back. Now it's that way. I'm getting them turned on to fishing, though. I think that's something that they'll take for years to come.
right.
And then they'll say, I wish I would have listened to Grandpa more on how to do this stuff.
Yeah, David Smith, it does add up. Man, especially the reels I used. The only reels I had back then was Abu Garcia's.
Yeah.
Back the made in Sweden. If I had to count, I had probably between my bass fishing setups and my catfishing gear and my saltwater. I probably had about 30 to 40 Abu Garcia reels.
Yeah, if
I had
somebody
from the
wants to come up,
5,000. I had from the 5,000 all the way up to the 7,000.
if somebody wants to come up and take my place, I'm getting kind of tired tonight. Just can't hang with you young'uns.
By now, I'm usually in bed by now, even on the weekend. That's why I'm glad Hogleg and Kenneth changed their show time.
Yeah,
Because now I get up in the morning while I'm getting ready, I'll listen to them,
right.
listen to their show.
I've been staying up too late. I haven't made it up before they got off the air, but a few times I have. I enjoy their show.
Yeah.
But
Hogleg and Kenneth, they're some good they're some good guys.
it was good seeing them out fishing the other day.
Yeah, I seen that. But wow, we've been live almost 2 hours here.
Really, didn't
Yeah.
seem like that long.
No.
Marty's gonna have to come up and take over for me.
Yeah. I know right now I'm looking for another reel. I like the Ancient Mariners, but man, he went up on the price. I can't just drop
Did
he had to. Everything's costing more, so
Yeah.
what's up, Adam?
Hey, two stands. What's up, buddy?
I'm back. I hit a dead spot when I was driving home. Then my phone was dying.
Hey, Sam.
No, we said sturgeon a while ago, but you're too late to talk about sturgeon.
What's up, Stan? I guess I need some rattles too. Ugh. You know what? I'll order them. I thought I had some in the garage. I will order some, and as soon as I get them, I will find the other ones.
You bet.
Exactly. That's usually how it works.
Oh, pretty soon I'll be able to back the car out and leave it out for a couple of days and get my garage sorted out.
Oh, mine's a mess. That's an understatement.
I wish I could go back doing some work on my lathe, but in the evenings my hands cramp up so bad that I'm afraid if I'm holding a tool and they cramp up that I'll get a catch.
Yeah.
tool will go flying, and that could be not good ending.
Hey, fishing for whiskers. Stan, if you want to come up, you more than welcome to come up.
What's up, Rhonda?
Hey, fishing for whiskers. Good evening.
I just call everybody by their YouTube name. I can't remember everybody's name.
Yeah, and then you go on Facebook and they got a totally different name that I don't recognize. Or you go on Facebook, Facebook. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm starting to get punchy, so I think I'm gonna drop down, Lance, and
All right, Don.
might stay in chat for a little while and make sure the dog's ready to go to bed and do a couple little things and let somebody else come up and jack their jaws for a while. Mark, good
Yes.
night.
Good night, bud.
Appreciate you. You know, from my very get go, I went to you. You were my go to man. So
That's why I
Lance,
couldn't turn you down when you told me to come up here.
Lance, I've always been in your corner. Everybody in chat, great people. Can't thank you all enough for the support I've got from all of you. So good night, all.
Yeah,
Bye.
Stan won another one. Good for you, Stan. I made a comment in chat earlier. I said, hey, Stan didn't come in second. Didn't mean nothing bad by it, but you know what I mean.
He broke his streak of 222, huh?
I know, twice in a row now, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I've heard. I'm hoping sometime this summer we make it down to Mendota.
Where do you fish it in the summer?
Right there by between the railroad tracks and the highway. Going into Cherokee Marsh.
Okay, and you still do good over there in the summer?
Yeah. Yep, we do okay.
I'm on eBay while I'm talking to you.
So I mean, hopefully we can. Well, this year too, me and my buddy been talking. Somehow we got to plan it out where we can. If he takes a Saturday off of work, the guy's always working there. My fishing buddy, we work together, but he works every Saturday. He goes in and works. So
yeah, you gotta make money. That's the thing. Gets in the
yeah,
way of fishing, I know, but
because I plan on hitting the Mississippi River this year.
me too. I want to go up to what is it, Lock 9 up by that Clement's fishing barge.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go fish up there for some big old perch.
Yeah, I heard it's some good fishing up there.
Yeah, that's what I hear. If you're looking for perch and walleye, there's flathead up there too.
Yeah.
But I won't go up there for flathead. I'm going to go up there for.
All right, I think I got this figured out here. My phone's been on the fritz ever since I got off the river today.
What's going on, Adam?
How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing good. I'm just trying to order some hooks here.
Hey, Chuck
What kind of hooks are you looking at?
L197 Eagle Claws.
Nice. You were just talking about Eagle Claws today, Lance, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I used to use was the Eagle Claw J hook.
Yeah.
I use the Gamakatsu Big Rivers for
Yeah,
J-hook.
Gamakatsu is a good hook.
Yep.
I gotta go.
I mean, now all I use really is the River Cat tackle hooks. That's one of my sponsors, so that's what I use.
How do you like them?
They're good. They're sharp.
Yeah,
They are
I've been
very
sticking
sharp.
with the whisker seekers, but it is what it is. People say they dull pretty quick, but I fish what I probably 90% of the time I'm fishing in a lot of rocky areas, so they do dull, but I want to branch out a little bit. I run the hybrid ones, so
You know what? I I ordered a whole bunch of them. I ended up giving them to somebody else.
I've never had issues with them, but I know a lot. I've read lots of reviews and
Do
lots of
you use
negative.
mono?
No, I use braid.
You do use braid, and how deep of water are you fishing in?
I mean, I don't fish deep water too much. I fish like a lot of holes, but most deepest holes I've fished. Actually, I got one of my first PBs of it was a 50-pounder I caught out of the deepest hole I ever fished was 16 feet
Uh-huh.
out of a creek inlet. But other than that, it's, I mean, 11 feet holes and stuff like that. I mean, the rivers I fish are pretty. The sections I fish out of the rivers are pretty shallow, so I just target shallow or deep holes and then the creek inlets
Mm-hmm.
of those, and where the bait kind of
Where the
bundles up
bait's
in
at.
yeah. So, but I've always wanted to hit those deeper sections of rivers where they get down to 30 feet, but really around by me there's not much unless I branch out like to the Mississippi out west in Wisconsin. There's a lot of deep holes, but I'll still stick to the structure on the shorelines and stuff like that, and the creek
Yep.
inlets. Creek inlets are like my favorite thing to hit. I don't know, I just love doing that, and you don't even need any kind of structure, and you can hit a 16-foot hole, and I usually plant one bait right on in the middle in about 2 feet of water, and then I'll just kind of make it, spread them out. And if I have my wife with me, she'll put one out there and we'll just make a line. And it's just, you got to find the path of where the fish are going, and you'll hook up on one of them eventually.
Uh-huh.
Sound like a flathead fisherman.
Yeah. Get them on the move. That's the best way to do it. At night when they're feeding, either be where they're feeding. During the day, you get them where they rest. You can get them dragging baits because a lot of times, I'm a firm believer that a flathead will lay down in the middle of a river, and if you're dragging baits, you get lucky. The smaller ones do. I've never caught a real big one during the day. Actually, I have, but in small log piles. But in the middle of the river, when I'm dragging baits in the middle of the day, I'll pick up a flathead every now and then. But they're, anywhere between like 15 to 22 pounds, 25 pounds at the most.
Yeah. See, I've only literally been fishing for flatheads for about 9 years, and
That's a good time.
Yeah, it is. But like I've the spot I've come to realize that we really hit a lot, and where I started my whole flat fishing, startup was, bang fishing, and it's one of our favorite places to go in the pre-spawn, and it's literally the pre-spawn feeding frenzy area. It's pretty cool. Last year,
I remember last year you did really well.
Yeah, we went Memorial Weekend, which we have we got a trip every year. We go Memorial Weekend now. And I mean, last year we hooked up on 13 flatheads in one night on,
Crazy.
It was probably 50 feet of river bank that we were fishing. And it was me and my buddy, and then our wives and our
makes
kids.
me salty to hear numbers like that. I ain't even gonna lie.
And I mean, they weren't huge fish. We were catching, and usually, I mean, the Fox River where we fish in Wisconsin, I mean, there's big fish in there. I mean, a 30-pound fish flathead is like considered pretty rare, and we caught multiple 20-pounders, and from the 9 years of fishing, usually we'd catch like 14-pounders, 15, 16, 17s. And this year, or last year was just like, I don't know what's going on, but they got a good program going on where the fish are, super active. They're starting to produce more fish in the river systems. It was awesome last year. I don't know if we hit the right time at the with the water, the temperature, and everything. But I don't know if this year is going to be like that. I was just at my buddy's house. We were kind of discussing it, and it's like the water's super high this year. Temperature's a little bit cooler this year, so I'm thinking it's going to be not the same as last year. But I do know that the flatheads that they'll be there, but I don't know how active they will be at that time. But
Yeah, I didn't have a stellar year last year. I've had way better years. I'm hoping this year picks up. I seem to think flatheads are cyclical, just like
yeah,
rabbits. If you hunt rabbits, and I don't, but I know guys that do, and they're sick every 7 years. They go through cycles. They get really, really high population, and then it declines. Everything from lack of food to disease, all sorts of stuff. And then at the end of another 7 year cycle, they're more. I feel fishing's a lot the same way, not just because they're living or dying, because flathead kind of grow a little slower, but they move and leave and come and go, and
Mm-hmm.
the river is always changing. You know what I mean?
yeah, and that's what the beauty of like catfishing is, and just river system themselves. It's not like it's not like a lake. The river, like you go to a river one day, the next day you go, it's totally different. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I've always had that aspect of fishing is just a river is just something different. It's just always different.
I ain't gonna lie. I don't know a darn thing about fishing for flathead in a lake. I couldn't tell you.
Oh, neither do I.
Where to start? No clue. I have no idea. And I know guys that catch them here, and I just don't. I don't ask questions like that. You know what I mean? Like, what do you do? Where are you finding them? This or that.
Yeah.
I might break down and ask them like what depth you're finding them at.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times I like to think, and I don't claim to know anything about it because I just said I don't know hide or hair where to even start. But I'm thinking underwater structure has a lot to do with it, just like crappie fishing on a lake. Find those big underwater piles of stuff, and I think that's a good. That's where I would start. But finding them, I'm not a deep water crappie fisherman, so I don't know where the brush piles are. I've never scanned. I usually bang across the lake to get over to channels or get over to points when I'm crappie fishing or over to docks. I don't spend any time. I think this year I might do some drifting in the fall across like Pistaki for walleye. I know a lot of guys who do that. They told me I should try that. Get out there early in the morning and just drift the flats or drift across the flats. Let the wind blow you across, and you'll find them that way. So I figure I'll try that. If I come across some structure or something, I'll mark it on my waypoints, and if I ever decide to go out there, I'll hit them pretty hard.
Yeah, and like the only time I ever fished, we went down south. We stopped at Oklahoma last year. We did a big river or a big travel down south. We went to Oklahoma, then we went to Texas, and we stopped in the middle of Oklahoma and Texas, and we fished Lake Texoma. We stayed there for 2 nights at a campground, and we were just doing a little travel. And so I only had room to bring 2 rods with me, collapsible catfishing rods, and a small bait box, which I could hardly find any bait off the shore. But I wanted to catch a blue cat, and that was at Lake Texoma, which is a pretty popular lake for blue cats. But the water level, I think we went in September, and it was just super. Everything down south was just drained. The river systems were drained. I never hooked up on a blue cat there, and then we went.
I don't know if the rivers are like the foxes here. The fox here, May 1st is when they start. They close all the spillways up and get everything back up to summer pool. Until then, they just leave everything wide open, so everything's super low here right now. So I don't know if that's the same thing there, but that's what they do here.
Okay, yeah, everything by us right now is I have that catfish camp coming up in the end of June. For anyone that's welcome to come, anyone can come, but I just saw a picture of our campground that we're all staying at, and they have a beach, and the whole campground or the whole beach is up to the beach house. is water, and then behind the beach house is water. And someone asked me what site I was at, and I was like, I don't remember, and I don't have any confirmation of it. So I called him up, and we were talking. I'm like, so how high is the water? And he said I think he said it was about 19 feet
Wow.
above. And it was like, oh my gosh. He said the whole campground is underwater right now. And I was like, oh geez. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Where's
say.
this catfish and where's this catfish camp going to be at?
That's in right in La Crosse. It's called Pettyboone Campground and Resort.
Okay.
It's on like pool 8 of the Mississippi in
Okay.
Wisconsin. But yeah, anyone's welcome to come to that. We got a bunch of sponsors. We got Mad Cats donating. We have Whisker Seekers donating. We have Meat Hunters donating.
You got Whisker Seekers to donate?
Yeah, I actually contacted them about my rod holders a while back.
Uh-huh.
And we had something going, but I'm so busy with it. It was just, and how I'm doing it. I'm actually kind of in the works of kind of doing some stuff with it right now. So it's the rod holder thing has been taking off pretty good. And now I'm trying to, build on it. So I'm kind of in some things. I got to make some decisions yet with that, but I contacted them a while back, and we had some kind of agreements, but I'm still working at it. And I told them I was going to try to get it to them soon, but we'll see how that goes. But anyways, I talked to, the owner and stuff. And, I mentioned that, we were having this catfish camp, and they were, they said they'd donate some stuff. So I just got to just email them about it when the time comes about it. And they're throwing stuff out. Mad Cats, Boss Cat, Casking. There's a ton of we have 12 different sponsors coming out. So we're trying to push this thing to get some people.
Are you expecting?
I have no idea. This is I contacted Matt Jones just because I wanted to do it myself, because I knew he used to run this thing. It was called Catfish Camp. So I contacted him. I'm like, hey, how do you, because I know he used to do it. I'm like, how did you run this? I want to, start something to get some people out and meet some people. So he's like, well, I tell you what, he's like, I've been trying to, branch out. He's like, I haven't done it for a couple of years. I'd like to branch out into different states to do it. And I'm like, well, I don't know anything about it. I'm like, I'd definitely be, more than willing to, do it in my state if you want to help out. So we kind of started it back up, and we got a site on Facebook. If you just type in Catfish Camp, I got some links and stuff on it as well, but to get to that group, and then it's got all the information on there. There's a bunch of interest in it. I think there's maybe 10 people that are actually going right now, but I'm telling you, we have so many giveaways going right now. It's man, I hope.
Isn't end of June spawn up there?
Well, I tell you what, the last time we went, because we went, the first time we ever went up there, which was in the pool 8, we went to a different campground, me and my wife and my kids. And it was July. It was just the beginning of July we went. And my wife, we were sitting out there. The kids went to sleep in the camper. And so me and my wife are sitting out. And this is right when I kind of 3 years after I started catfishing for flatheads. And I used to be a big muskie fisherman. So I had my muskie rod rigged up for catfish. And then I had an old Cabela's King Cat. That's all I had for rods. And I had those two out with some bluegills on there. And all of a sudden, my bait clicker's going off on my muskie rod. So she grabs that one, and then all of a sudden my other rod starts ticking off. So I run and get that one. Well, she's fighting that one. I'm looking, and she's like, your reel's not doing very well. I'm like, you got to turn it around at the bait caster. So she turns it around. I'm reeling as fast as I can. I'm like, man, I've never fought a fish like this before. Well, I pulled mine up, and I think it was 29 pounds. I grabbed that off the bank, run over to her. I'm like, do you want me to take it? She's like, no, I got it. She gets hers up, and she had like, it was like a 33 pounder. And at the time, like, I just got my PB, and then she just topped me. So she's laughing at me the whole time. I mean, then that was in July. And then we went up in this kind of around the same time, and I caught, a 50 pounder. So it was, I mean, I don't know. It might have been just, just the perfect timing thing, and that was in 4 feet of water, and the whole canal or the whole channel was 4 feet of water. And so I don't know, like I've always went up there and had great success no matter what time it was. And it usually is from July to the beginning of August. So we just kind of stuck with those time frames to go up there, and it paid off a lot every time we went up there. My buddy, we just went up last year. I didn't even catch a single flathead last year. I lost probably the biggest one of my life up there. I fell asleep and woke up to my line spooled out and fought a fish for about 10 minutes. And then it felt really big, and then it felt super big, and my leader broke. But my buddy caught like a 20 or 29 and a half pounder. That was his PB. So I was pumped about that. But yeah, I don't think I believe in the spawn, but I think there's definitely like segments where there's some that are off the spawn already, or
I think they don't all spawn at the same time. I think there's 4 or 5 weeks in the summer that they start the spawn, and that meaning that these fish will spawn, others won't be. These fish will spawn, others won't be. I do notice that during the quote unquote spawn, I catch a lot of smaller fish. I'm talking under 10 pounds and under. And then the rest of the year here, I don't.
Yeah, you get the juveniles, and
the little ones think that it's safe for them to come out and play, I think so.
Yeah.
And again, one flathead night I'm happy with here. Best night I've ever had flathead fishing here was a 5 flathead night. A bunch of doubles. Had a triple night once where I caught them all back to back. I tripled up one night. That was ridiculous. Nothing before it, nothing after it. Yeah. But other than that, I could go a little further south, but I don't feel like fishing in those or leaving my rig in those shady areas. So
yeah, it's definitely I don't know. It's something different. I don't know. There's something about catfishing that like I used to do a lot of muskie fishing. Before that was a lot of bass fishing, and then the muskie, and then I started doing a lot of fly fishing. We used to go out west in Wisconsin in the driftless area and Madison area and stuff like that, and did a lot of that. And then all of a sudden my buddies are like, "Hey, you want to try catfishing?" I'm like, I guess. And they told me what to get it. So I went out to Cabela's. I got some 8-odd circle hooks and the weights I got, because they didn't really have much there for weights. So I got this weird triangle anchor looking weight, and went out there to our spot that we love to fish now, and I threw my line out there, and it was like 30 minutes later I hooked up on a 14-pound flathead, and I was addicted from then on.
You were spoiled early, man. It took me a year to catch my first flathead, man. I ain't even joking. But that first one was 32 pounds, man. It made it all worth it.
Yeah, it's great. Like, and then I don't know, it was just the fight. I mean, it was 14 pounds, and nowadays when I catch a 14 pounder, it's like, well, yeah, it's fun catching it, but it's like I didn't know at the time the power of them, and it's like I'm fighting it through the current, and I'm like using my muskie rod, and I've caught in like 42, 43-inch muskies and a little bit bigger, and I'm like, this is crazy. Like I can barely reel this thing in.
All my buddies who fish for muskies are like, "Why do you chase them flathead?" I'm like, it's like just like muskie fishing, but you got to put your back into it, you big puss. They don't like when I tell them that.
I don't know. I started bang fishing. I don't know. I have a boat, but like I'm not like I don't have all the technology. I'm not a rich man. I don't have anything really for my boat. I have a locator that has a GPS, like the lowest grade Lowrance GPS on there, just to navigate through some stuff. And so the boat fishing, I'm not very successful with yet. But I mean, I did land a 50-pound flathead just by, doing some Google satellite imaging and find some, you can see structure, you can see depths just from looking at a river with just the overhead view and creek inlets and stuff like that. And that's just how I kind of navigate my fishing wise right now. But bank fishing, I don't know. I just, that's where my rod holders kind of created. I started out with using the spiral ones like everyone else does. You get, you pay $12 for or whatever, you get the spiral ones. And I just kind of got nervous about it when I started using buying better stuff and didn't really think they would hold up. And then I upgraded to PVC pipes with the fence post, zip tied and screwed into them. And then I kind of got into River Certified, and I was like, dang, I like those holders. And I'm like trying to find them forever. And then I'm just like,
my grandfather used to make those rod holders. I'm not even kidding.
oh
Back
yeah, I've talked to
they've been
plenty of people
around
like those have been around forever.
forever.
But I literally searched around the web and I found a few that were like similar, but they were just like almost like wire thin. And I'm like, yeah. So then I'm like, I'm just gonna make my own, and I found like those.
Well, that step part that you have to them, that I like. That is using your noggin there. So
yeah, and I like the step. Like I made that. I'm like, well, everyone hammers them in, or you got to get them in somehow. It's like, well, why can't you just not bring a hammer, or mostly not have to bring a hammer, and use your own power to get them in. And that's where that came in. And then all of a sudden I'm like, well, the step is better than just being able to step on it. It creates more ground surface. So when you get your fish loads up on your rod, that step acts as like it creates, more surface.
It's a fulcrum is what it is.
Yeah. And then, I've been kind of just keep upgrading slowly on it to just, and now I'm, the guard dogs, I kind of hooked up with them, and it's been really cool, like hooking up with that team. And it's just crazy how it worked. Cause they work perfect for like, when I'm bang fishing with my family, and just like we were out a couple weeks ago for channel cats on the Fox River, and we took some family friends with us, and they don't really fish very much, and they've never caught channel catfish. Last year we took him out. He caught a flathead, but never channels. So we get out there, and my wife has 2 rods. I gave her I won a Mad Cat's rod this year, so I'm like, well, you already have a Mad Cat, and you only have 1 rod, so you can have this one. So I gave that one to her. But I usually try to rig everything up for everybody and get it all out there, and so everyone can enjoy their time. And then when the rods start going off, that's their time to enjoy it. And it was a ball. And with those the guard dogs, it's nice because we had our kids. We have 2 kids, and then they have 3 kids, and one's almost, it's just a newborn almost. And so we're everyone's occupied, and you put those guard dogs on, they hook up, and I was talking to the owner of the campground, and the rod loaded up, set the hook, and it was on for 5 minutes, but it already set the hook. So it was like, I know it's a circle hook, but they'll set, but it was a good combination for when you're just occupied and you're not really paying attention. You got, your kids running around, and my youngest son, man, I don't know if you saw the video of him. I had to go get propane from the gas station. So I leave, and my wife calls me. She's like, hey, Oakley wants to catfish. I'm like, well, I bought him I got him some custom meat hunter rods this year, 5-7 foot rods, and the Cast King reels. And so he's out there. I'm like, yeah, go let him go, do whatever he wants. And he followed every footstep I do of how I catch a channel catfish. You have to walk over a bridge, cast your line to this brush pile because it's pretty far to cast to, and you got to walk your rod all the way. It's 45 yards to walk your rod all the way back over. So he did all that, and he put his rod there, put the guard dog on, and he caught 6 channel cats by himself. He's 6 years old, and I'm like, he caught the first one. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna film this stuff because this is kind of cool to watch. And he ended up catching a 12.5 pound channel catfish by himself, and it was just amazing. I was just like, I got to film all this stuff. This is cool. Just watching him, and he was having a ball.
Quick learner, learn from dad.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's exciting watching the kids catch a fish, especially when they get one of those big ones.
I have an autistic nephew, and there was a fishing derby here at this local pond, a small little pond, and the prize was a bike. So he found out about this. He's like, Uncle Mark, we got to win this. I want you to help me. I'm like, all right. So we go to this fishing derby. I set him up. I'm just telling him where to cast and stuff. He gets this 11-inch bass, right? He was so happy and all of this stuff. Turns out he wanted a gosh darn bike, man. I was a hero. Holy smokes. That was a good time that day. That was one of my best fishing memories, though. He's still got that bike to this day sitting in the garage. He's in high school now, but that was pretty cool to see his eyes light up when he pulled that fish out of the water.
Oh yeah.
I remember when my brothers, when they were young, took them bass fishing for the first time. I took each of them different times so I could have that one-on-one time teaching them and stuff. My one brother, he hooked into a bass. He's reeling it in. I said, all right, he's almost to the shore, so get almost to the bank. Get ready to grab him by the mouth. What does he do? He was so happy. He pulled the rod all the way back, and the bass came flying over his head, landing behind him. I was like, geez, man. I said, slowly reel him in so you can grab him by the mouth. He goes, oh, that worked better. I'm like, really?
No, it's exciting to watch the kids catch.
Watch their eyes light up, man.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was happy. I remember my first memory of catching a fish. I was a bass. It was about I think I had one of those the little Zepco fishing boxes that had the 12-inch measurement on top of it, and I remember I caught one that just was 12 inches, and I think I was like 6 years old, and I was the happiest kid. And here my kids are catching. They both got PBs of 17-pound flatheads. They each tag teamed a 62-inch sturgeon. I'm like, they bragged to me that they got the biggest fish, and it's just amazing to see that stuff happen, and it's something they'll never forget.
Yeah. Just like I was telling you earlier today, my earliest memory of catching a fish was when I was like 4 or 5 years old down in Texas. I remember it was a nice striper, nice bass.
Yeah.
And that was on an old Zepco 33.
Yeah, I think everybody back in the day had the Zepcos.
Yeah.
Sure, a lot of them still do.
Yeah. And that says a lot for product.
That's the newer Zepco 33. And then I got the older one. It's actually they're both Zepco rods, actually. And there's the older. That's the older Zepco there. I got this rod and reel for $3 on the next street over at a garage sale.
I got a whole stack of them in my storage unit.
I mean, which one? Oh, this one here. I'm actually going to take this little one out, and I got 20-pound slime line on this one. I might actually take it out and use it just to see if I can bring in a catfish with it. It's been a while since I used a small rod like that. Just got to go out and have some fun.
Well, last year, or 2 years ago, I bought the kids the Whisker Seeker whisker sticks or whatever they were.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we hooked up on, that's where Oakley got his PB from. 70 pound, he caught a 17-pound flathead on that thing, and that was crazy to see him reel that thing, and I didn't think he was gonna make it, but I also had
my
65.
last golden whiskers was caught on one of them whisker sticks. That's
Those things are fun. Those things are fun.
I use the heck out of them.
They're
I
hard
just
to.
cannibalized them to get the Abu reels I had off of them to put on all the rest of these poles.
Yeah,
I was just looking at that new Micah Burkhart poles on Mad Cats. They look pretty cool. They're bright yellow with purple and stuff, but man,
Yeah.
$250. It's either that or that Jackery. I got to make my decisions. I probably could use the Jackery, to be honest.
yeah. I've always wanted to get one of those Jackeries. Those are nice.
Yeah, they are.
You guys were talking about that the Whisker Seeker bait box, and I was like, man, that's $250. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's a lot of money. Yeah,
But it is cool. Like I was thinking about it because I texted my friends because I got like a email about it or whatever, and I sent it to my friends. I'm like, yeah, look at this thing. And I'm like, this is pretty cool, but $250. But I'm like, geez, I might have to buy this because I mean it's nice, but I don't know if I probably won't buy it. But it's nice because it said it
I
lasted
looked
like
at it. I'm like,
4 days.
I had actually asked Spencer about that, and he wouldn't tell me a darn thing because he's been using it for a while, right? And,
Yeah,
he wouldn't say a darn thing about it. And then it finally came out, and I'm like, holy smokes, 200. That's like half of my boat payment budget of $250.
it is crazy. But I mean, you can make those pretty cheap by just you just gotta
I would pay $150 for that without a doubt.
yeah.
Easy, even especially since it's got a lithium battery, and that's the thing. It's got that solar charger on there, so it's charging while you got it out. But man, I got like 3 minnow buckets, and I got the Fraybill stuff. I got a round one, I got a square one. I got too much stuff to begin with. I don't need any more.
Yeah, and well, when we bait or flathead fish on the bank, we we usually can be able. It's pretty accessible to get there where you don't have to because I think that one's a 22 quart, which is pretty good size.
Is it that big? I didn't even take. I saw the price, and I'm like, okay, I've seen enough, and I clicked off of it.
Yeah, I think it's a 22 quart, and I can't remember what I have. I have one.
It's just over 5 gallons. That's a pretty big box.
Yeah, and I have a Coleman, like an old Coleman, like the bigger XL size ones where it has like the handle and the wheels on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then my buddies have those, so we'll just when we get to the river, we'll just load up our limits of what we can have for bait fish, and we're not carrying them around. We usually just bring like a 5-gallon pail, and we'll go to the back channel, catch some bluegills, bring them back to our bait box, and throw them in there. But
that's what I do. I got like a cheap Walmart igloo cooler I keep in my truck when I'm doing a day-long bait run, and I'll fill that up with treated water and make trips back to the truck. And what are you talking about, Brad? He says, Mark, Smoky Mountain Expo. Get them cheaper. I'm not quite sure what he's talking about.
Oh, that's the Catapalooza that's coming up in I believe August 11th or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna probably be there with my claws.
I seen one. It's a bait bag on Amazon for like $60, and I got the Fraybill. It's a 3-gallon bucket. The one I had out there today, Adam.
Yeah.
Plus, I got I don't know how many other bait buckets. Just the styrofoam one.
The only thing I like the coolers just because it will definitely especially when you're fishing, and when we go out to Mississippi, we take my boat and we just island hop and camp on an island for 2 days, then we'll hop to the next island. And it gets to 100 degrees, and you just gotta, the thin plastic bait box or the bait buckets, you gotta be changing your water constantly. With the coolers, you can probably leave it for a good, 2 hours, and you still got the water still pretty cool. That's the only thing.
I got a regular igloo cooler where I
Okay.
modified it. I got two
Yeah.
aerators that I hang off the back.
Yeah.
And I run the line in there. Then what I'll do is freeze water bottles during the
Yeah.
summer and put them
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah. I usually get like a gallon milk jug and fill that
Yeah.
and freeze it and bring it along with me.
Gotcha, Brad.
What
Now I understand.
What did you were saying that Spencer's off of Whisker Seekers? I was when
He
I was
said,
driving
no,
home.
on his last video, he said he's not using Whisker Seeker rods anymore.
Oh, that's what you said. Yeah.
That read into that whatever you want, but that tells me something. He says he was looking into some rod options. Is kind of what he said, not exactly.
Yeah. I mean I use them. That's just where I kind of. I mean
I
I
got a
was
lot of Whisker Seeker stuff.
I definitely like them. I like them because the only reason I really like them is because I like cork. And then I like, even though I don't even know if they make them out of cork anymore, if it's like a.
They're solid cork now. They had a problem with the cork for a long time. They were using a
Okay.
wrap and stuff. I talked to
Yeah,
I
but
talked to one of their older, well, probably their first pro staffer who's no longer guiding, and he kind of filled me in on it. But now they're solid cork. So
okay, yeah, I like the cork. I like the cork handles, and then my main thing I really like about the Whisker Seekers is like the sleekness of them.
they're not as chunky as other rods. They're real light,
And
and it's like a broom handle rather than like a
yeah, and that's
like
just how I've always had rods, and it just my wife has the Whisker Seeker. I think it's a Sterling, the pink and with the purple, and then we have
I've
the
never heard of that one.
yeah, it's just like a pink rod, and then it's got the all purple the EVA foam grip, and then we just got that the green signature series or whatever Mad Cats, but they're just bulkier. I don't mind them. Like I mean, we've caught great fish on them. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just my personal preference is just I like the sleekness. I really like the Hellcats. I really want to get one. It's not in my budget, and I already got enough rods to use right now. But I really want to get those Hellcats. And try those out because they look like they have. I don't know. I don't know if you've ever had them or ran them or seen them. I've never They look like they have the same kind of style.
They do. I've fished with people who had them. Some of the early ones too that were issues, but I know people that have used them. So I still have a hard time paying that much money for a rod. But I
Yeah,
can understand why
exactly.
they are that much.
Yeah.
And again, I got like I said, I got like 26 rods. I don't need any more. The only reason why I'm even thinking about getting these Micah Burkhart ones is because I know Micah from my show and stuff, and I've talked to him at CatCon, and I talked to him messaging and stuff. He's a good dude, and I like to support anglers who do pretty heroic things. So.
Oh yeah, and I've never met him personally, but I don't know. Somehow me and him became friends, and I don't know. I gotta tell you, like everything I post, he'll like, and it's that's just great dude. Support. He's a great support guy, and I appreciate like that stuff. And it, even just someone putting a like on your page or your post, it means something because they know they know what's going on, and they enjoy it to see it. So that's cool. There's a lot of great people out there, and that's like one of my main goals is I'm trying to get out to that Catapalooza because I've never done that, and I want to get my holders out there, and I want to most importantly, I just want to shake some people's hands. And I'm super pumped to come back out to Mendota this year.
Me too. I think you're camping right next to me, Adam.
Yeah, I think we're on 4, I believe.
Yeah, I'm in 5.
And we just we just made a pretty big purchase. When we got I don't know if we're gonna bring it to the Mendota, but we got a little motorhome. So.
Oh, nice.
But I don't know how that. I don't know. I don't really trust trying to bring a motorhome in with my boat and trying to back down a boat launch. I think that boat launch.
It's a 4-wheel drive.
It's a rear wheel, I believe.
It is rear wheel. Yeah,
so I'd have to put maybe like a front hitch on it if I really wanted to do it that way. I think would be the smartest idea for that. It's a 26-footer, so I don't want it to hit some algae and and I'll be windows deep or something.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's only like an hour drive from my house here. So I mean,
Oh, you're that
taking a
close?
second vehicle. Yep. But yeah, I can't wait to get back out there. I wanted to get the planer boards this year, but I'd never pulled the trigger. I was trying to find like the what brand was it? They make like the crappie boards.
Yeah.
I,
What is it?
um,
They're the yellow ones.
yeah, I just
Lotto
wanted,
was sponsored by them. Offshore.
yeah, offshore, because I was looking for like a mini board where I could just kind of try it out to see, because I don't really do that kind of fishing.
Just get some
I'm
from Uncle Lou's. His are probably the best.
Yeah, you guys mentioned that before,
They pull
and
straight. They pull hard out to the sides.
I tried looking at some videos because I've never done it before, so it's like, well, I want to try, because I mean, last year you guys were just hammering them. I mean, we caught a bunch of them, but I'm sitting there, anchored up, and you guys are trolling around me, and I'm like, I think it was Josh that was by me a lot, and just I see him like 50 yards out, they're pulling up fish. I'm like, all right, Brooke, I think we gotta get the planer boards. But I mean, that all depends if the weeds
I'm
grow
not.
and stuff like that.
I got a plan this year. I'm not going for numbers, so
Yeah,
plan this year.
I like literally
I got my dragon stuff in my boat, and it's ready to go. But
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna. I got a plan this year. That's all I'm saying.
I like casting and just relaxing, and you just got to find the right spot, and if they're there, they're there. I think the baits, the bait is pretty easy to what you need, but I don't know. I've just started actually channel catfishing like a couple of years ago, like 3 years ago, because my kids want to you catch them, or the flatheads, but it's like, well, they don't always bite in the day, and they or mostly don't bite in the day, and when the sun goes down, I mean, it's your bedtime and you're passed out, and you missed your opportunity. I'm sorry, you got to go to bed. And so the channel cat is nice because you can catch them any time of the day, really.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with channel cats. You don't get
No.
stuck in that whole trophy thing. A lot of people get stuck in that trophy fishing stuff, especially people who don't live on trophy water. So, I
Yeah.
mean, a 40-pound flathead here is considered a trophy, and I'm trying to catch them. But that's just because I want to put a damn 40-pound sticker on my boat. I got a 10, I got a 10, I got a 20, I got a 30, I got a 50. I don't even know if there's a 60 here, so I got to get that 40. So. And I want a 30-pound channel cat to put on my wall. That's why I want a 30-pound channel.
I'm still trying to get a 20-pound. I think it was the last day last year in Mendota. We sat on the far end of the lake, and then we moved up to that channel, and we're sitting there, and I'm like, all right, let's just give it like a half an hour. And I was ready to reel up, and all of a sudden I felt like a knock on the boat, and I look back, and my pole's bending. I grab it, and man, I think it was probably only like a 14 or 15 pound, maybe 16 pound. I didn't even weigh it, and I mean, that thing was zip and drag. Like I was using my flathead rods, and I had it set for flatheads for the drag, and I'm like, man, this thing is just hauling. And they fight. I think if you caught a 30-pound channel catfish and you caught a 30-pound flathead, I think you'd probably have more fun catching that 30-pound channel
They're
catfish.
different. It's a different fight. You know that.
Yeah.
They're way different fights. Even let's say a 20-pound channel versus a 20-pound flathead. It's the channel cats are more erratic. It's pretty crazy when they tail walk over there in Mendota. That's always fun.
Yeah.
And the bites are a lot more violent than a flathead.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that boom, instant drag peel, or you hear them smash that bait and then the drag peels. It's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. Or they hit it and they run straight to your boat, and you think you lost. That one I thought I lost because it hit it. I started reeling, and then all of a sudden it just like my rod popped up. I'm like, oh, I threw my pole down. I'm like, all right, let's get out of here. And then all of a sudden I pick up my rod to reel it, and I'm like, oh, wait, hold on. And then all of a sudden I kicked in, and I'm like, started zipping the drag. I'm like, oh man. But yeah, they're fun to catch. I mean, people I think give channel cats a bad rap, but they are definitely
They
exciting
don't
fish
give
to
them a
get.
bad rap. They just don't get to be 50 pounds. That's the thing. People are looking. They get. That's why I said that. Don't get caught up in that whole trophy thing. There's a lot of people out there that fish and they can only get 5, 6, 7 pound. 7 pound channel cat for a lot of people in this country is a good
Yeah,
channel.
that's
It
nice.
really
That's a
is.
nice
They
Oh
don't have
yeah,
flat. They don't have a flatheads, or they don't have blues, or they don't have the means to fish. The big rivers, that the fuel to get there, the time to get there, or the boat or the equipment. You had mentioned you don't have all the. Well, I started without all the electronics. Started on the bank, got a boat, had no electronics on the darn boat. You just got to slowly build up your war chest, is what I call it, and that's what
yeah. I mean, I don't even like really. I want to get. I was gonna. I almost pulled the trigger because there's a deal on the hummingbird, the 7 inch, the new
Mhm.
one, and I mean, there's a deal on it, and all my buddies just pulled the trigger. I'm like, oh, I'm like, I don't know, like I
I got,
like the way
I'm
I
gonna say
fish.
this, Adam. I got live scope, and live scope don't make you catch the fish. It doesn't make you
No,
catch the fish.
it's got the side imaging and then the
I
down
got, I
imaging.
got, I got, I got Garmin 10 inchers on there. Two of them. One of them's for the live scope. I got live scope on there, and I saved my pennies for 3 years to buy that live scope, and I bought it because I wanted it. So don't let anybody guilt you out of anything either way
Oh no,
around.
nobody's guilt.
No,
I I
I'm
I
just
like
saying. I'm just saying. If you want it, set your goals and get it. I mean, you're going to probably be doing really good with your rod holders and stuff. Who knows? In 5 years, you might be in one of them $100,000 sea arcs or whatever you like.
I don't even like I
I'd get a
enjoy how
Polar
I
Craft,
fish.
but that's me.
I enjoy just how I just like fishing off my instinct. Like that's just how I've always been. It's just like my rod holders. Like everything isn't perfect on my rod holders. I do a lot of stuff just by my eye, and people don't realize it, but
You're preaching to the choir, man. I have never used chicken breast ever
nope.
because I don't want to.
Stick with live bait and cut bait, and it's all caught by me. I have gone to the bait shop and get some like suckers if I'm on a desperate need, but usually I catch everything. But
Highlight Stan's comment. I like that. Stan wins the internet tonight.
the Johnny Cash song.
Yeah, our boat is like the Johnny Cash song, but one part at a time.
No, but I tend to keep like the fishing aspect, to the bare minimum because otherwise you start. I don't know. The way I look at it is you start upgrading, then you just want to keep upgrading, just like everything else, like technology. But like I like just when I go fishing, I look for like signs of stuff like creek inlets, like, and you find a good deep hole on that creek inlet. Well, you know what? That flathead you're looking for, there's probably an old path that flathead will follow up. They get their bait and they move along. And just like even like lakes and reservoirs, what I've researched is, they all have old creek beds that all those fish that used to do that, they still do that. And you find those and I mean, they're on, like, you can look at maps. They show you all the old creek beds. Those are
Yeah.
highways for fish. And you don't need all that high technology. I mean, yeah, you can have just to get depths and stuff. But if you have a map and you can figure out where that depth is, where it comes up a little bit and then goes back down, and you find that highway, I mean, you're bound to hook up on fish. It's just, and then when you get on those fish, that's the part that is the best part. Feeling is like you did that because of your research and not because of a locator. And you can see all that stuff on your
I feel
locator.
triggered, Adam.
That's what keeps me, and that's what makes me addicted to it, is because
It's
when you get on stuff.
Adam, it's more data. That's all fish finders are, is data. That's all
Oh,
it is.
oh,
Just
it
like your
makes you
maps are
more.
data, navionics, online is data. Google Maps is data. You didn't, Google Maps didn't exist until what, 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
People didn't have that stuff. There's old timers out there that have been doing it for this. There's also a lot of people that used to get started with like regular fish finders and stuff that were on tape roll and this and that. So yeah, that's you got to fish the whatever you want to fish, but there's nothing wrong with
See
using
you later, Dick.
sonars and electronics and stuff like that. So
Take her easy, Dink. Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
for a bunch of ideas, it's just gathering data. A guy can say, "Hey, I'm just going to go get me a fork stick instead of a rod holder." You
Oh
can go
yeah,
that route too.
that's like my buddy. He's a Y stick man.
See, exactly. That's like the same thing. So
Right.
nothing wrong with
But-
not using electronics. Nothing wrong with using electronics.
Yeah, it's all everything is just preference, and then you get to. It used to tick me off a little bit when you go on Facebook and then you say something and then someone says something, negative about it. It's like at the same time, it's like, all right, well, you know
There's
what?
always somebody going to say
It's just
something on
preference.
social media.
It's just preference, and I just try to have fun with it because if you don't have fun fishing and you're just stuck to arguing with people about something you're doing, it's like, well, then you're not having fun doing it. You just want to.
You're absolutely right. Which is why I try to lay as low as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's just like people. I mean, I know the catch and release. I usually selective harvest. Today I did 100% catch and release. That's just because I didn't want to clean no fish today.
Been there, done
Probably
that.
because it was 40 degrees out and raining and 15-mile-an-hour winds.
Exactly.
I like to keep fish, but I hardly keep any crappie. I'll keep a bunch of them in the spring, but for the most part, I'm done crappie fishing. I'm done keeping fish. I'm not really big into eating channel cats and stuff. They're okay.
I've never caught.
If I get up on the Mississippi and I'm chasing perch, I'll keep some perch. If I get on some walleye, I'll keep some walleye. But other than that, I'm not one of these guys that packs their fridge with stuff. I got 10 pounds of crappie fillets. That'll last me till Christmas.
Yeah.
That's just like
panfish is where it's at.
the most channel cats I keep is 4. I mean, that's enough for the 2 of us. That's 8 fillets. You cut those up into chunks. You got quite a few meals.
Oh yeah, you got a mess of food right there.
Mm-hmm.
I've never caught I've caught and released every flathead I've ever caught. And channel cats, I actually just started. I kept 3 of them last year, 3 or 4 last year when I was with my boys. We caught my one boy. We were fishing for channel cats, and we had some cut bait on and caught 1 channel cat, and then also my oldest is like, Dad, I got something bigger on. Pulls up like I think it was like an 18 or 19-inch walleye. I'm like, he's like, can we keep this? I want to eat it. I'm like, all right. And then we caught 2 more channels. I'm like, all right, we'll go home, and we cooked up a fish fry. But man, I don't really keep much fish at all. Like, I don't know. I like releasing them. It's just the thrill of it for me. But I'll keep panfish and stuff like that. And my dad loves panfishing, so we'll go out and panfish and get a mess of bluegills and crappies and have fish fries like that. But like catching flatheads is
when I have like a fish fry or when I am keeping fish, it's for the same reason why you're not really into electronics. It's all a part of it from me. There's nothing cooler than being able to go out and catch your own food, bring it home, process it, and feed yourself and your loved ones with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't have much to do with the taste of the fish or any of that. It's not because I totally love them, which I do love crappie and a couple other but that's not the part that makes me happy. It's my mom calling me when she sees a picture on Facebook, hey, are you going to bring me some of that? And I bring it over and I make my mother happy a couple of times before she's gone and I never get to see her again. It's reliving times. It's reliving all these years with my grandfather who was on disability, who actually filled the void in his income with fresh fish to put on the table.
Yeah,
Stuff like
exactly. And you know what? I don't disrespect anybody that, keeps fish at all. Like
as
I
long as
mean,
as long as it's to
that's
the
awesome.
letter of as long as it's to the letter of the law, I got no problem with it.
Exactly.
If you
Yeah.
don't like the laws, change the laws changed.
Yeah.
Now,
Exactly.
one fish I do keep 100% of the time is burbot because 90% of the time they swallow your hook.
They do. They're
So
good. They're gut hooking machines, aren't they, Lance?
yeah, they are.
Yeah, you're gonna have to take me out, and I have never caught one. So
Oh yeah.
I didn't do any fishing this year, Lance. So don't think I blew you off going bourbon.
Oh, I knew that.
I didn't fish once this winter. I'm getting too old to ice fish. I don't want to drag 200 pounds of gear out onto the ice, 100 pounds of gear. I ain't into that. Not without a vehicle. I'm done with that crap.
Yeah. Yeah, this year, Adam, we'll get out. Next winter, we'll get out, and I'll get you on burbot.
we'll have to get that tent you were talking about with the heater inside of it,
Yeah.
the wood burning stove.
Mm-hmm. I know. Like I said, it's the same. I fish for burbot the same way I fish for catfish. So
Yeah, me too. I use
just like my
wide gap walleye hooks on a fluorocarbon leader with a smaller weight, and that's the only difference. 20-pound braid.
So do
yeah
you
for
use
catfish, I'm
fluorocarbon
throwing.
leaders for catfishing?
No.
That's one thing I was just wondering.
Nah, catfish don't care. You could use wire and they would. You could use a coat
Oh
hanger.
no, I'm just
hook
saying
on the
for
end, they
like,
bite it.
what do you prefer for leader line for catfish?
I use mono. I use mono because I can get mono in a 50-pound. I use 50-pound mono leader and I use 65-pound braid. This way, if
Okay.
I get caught up, the leader breaks and I don't lose my whole rig. That's one of the reasons. Also, if there's any current, braid cuts through current a little better. Not that we have that much. I've just always used braid. People say, "Oh, you're gonna get caught on the rocks. It's gonna fray and break." I have yet to have had that happen. I'll have a muskie break a leader off, or I've had. I think I've had my braid break like twice, but I'm not fishing like where Creel lives. Creel lives, they got all those concrete, I forget what they're called, embankments or whatever down there.
Yeah. The
I don't
slabs
do
in
that
there.
kind of fishing, but for my use in shallow water, that braid helps. I think I get a better hookup ratio with circle hooks with braid because there's less play. I could see
Yeah.
flathead bites a little more. A lot of people really don't like braid, and that's good. Go ahead. What I don't like is putting 30-pound mono on my reel and pulling my boat off of anchor trying to break that crap. I've been there. I've done that. I ain't even kidding. I've been there, done that. I hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I switched over. That's what I do.
remember when I had a kayak. I remember having to break a 20-pound freaking mono on a kayak. That was horrible.
Wow. That's what I use is 65-pound braid and 50-pound leader.
Yeah, that's what I use.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Stan, there you
usually
go.
run 65. I upped it to 80 because where I fish is a lot of rocks and it's a steep rock wall. And I ran the Whisker Seeker line for a year and I snapped off, I think once, and my buddy snapped off twice. And one night we lost 3 fish because of, and I don't know if it's the Whisker Seeker line. I'm not going to
There's
knock
a
them or
lot
anything,
of
but I switched up and I got the reaction tackle because it's a lot more affordable and I mean it's the same diameter, pretty comparison for 80-pound tests, and I've never had an issue ever again. Yeah, but if I get snagged up, I run 60-pound leader line, it is a pain, but for what I do, I do a lot of a lot of rocks and it
That's
takes
what
a
I run
beating.
right there. That's the no fade
Right there.
reaction tackle braid.
This is the best stuff you can buy right here. I don't care what anybody says.
It's super affordable.
I'll pay the premium for this stuff because I've had nothing but good luck with it. I buy it 1,200 yards at a time.
What do you get?
Suffix 832.
Suffolk.
Oh, okay.
It ain't cheap, but it's worth it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just, yeah, everything's preference. It's just what works for
That's what
somebody might not
man.
work for somebody else. And,
Yeah,
that people just got to get over the fact of it instead of like hating on people that, well, you
Oh,
run
I
that. Well, that's
agree. I
stupid.
agree.
And it's ridiculous how people have to argue about it. It's like, who cares? Like, the guy catches fish and has good luck with it. Well, let him be. Like, why do you have to knock him for it?
right.
But
That's what it's called, revetment, concrete revetment.
that's why when I see posts about people asking for information or this or that, it's like I just kind of leave them alone from now, because it just, you put your input and then you leave your phone for a minute or
You know
two,
what
and
I
all of a sudden you
say?
got 10 messages about what you're doing wrong.
Well, if you guys ever listen to me answer any questions or any of my shows or talking to people, I'll never say this is it. This is what you got to do. I always say this is what works for me, because that's the
Right.
truth. You know,
And when
I'm not gonna be that guy that
yeah,
says you got to do X, Y, and Z to be productive. People want to hear that, but you're doing them a disservice. I
yeah,
watched YouTube for the longest time when I first started chasing bigger fish, and I tried what a lot of people said to do, and most of it ended up not working for me.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I
take it for
I
what it's
I
worth.
appreciate when people, like, I'll run what I run, but like today Lance gave me those, what is they call them, the Hawaiian slip rigs.
Yeah, the Hawaiian slide rig.
Yeah, the slide rigs. And it's like, I've never tried them, but you know what? I'm gonna try it. And I mean, it doesn't mean I'm gonna like it, but I'm gonna still try it. I'm gonna give it a go. I like listening to other people's information, even though maybe I disagree with it, but I'm gonna try it because I've never tried it before. How you know you're gonna like something if you never
Here's some
try it?
here's some top secret information, Adam, for you. Most catfishing stuff came from saltwater. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh no,
I'll be
yeah,
right back. I got to go check the still. I'll be back in a second.
yeah. Are
Circle
you go?
hooks came from saltwater.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm learning that when I kind of research stuff, a lot of the stuff is usually like, it's always says like this is, saltwater certified or whatever you want to say it is. But
That's
are
just
you?
like the bait casters we use now for the bait casters we use for catfishing.
Yep, they're all got the, yep, they're all like the
I mean,
anti-corrosion.
Ancient Mariner is made for saltwater.
Yep,
Like I
I always
said,
get posts about it. Yeah,
man, I like fishing in Hawaii. We used pen reels, the boat reels, the Pen 4.0s,
yep,
and those are so high speed. We used to have, you got to make a soap and water mixture, just dishwashing soap with, mix it with water, put it on the line first before you cast it, or else you'll burn your thumb.
yep.
So
Oh yeah.
we're casting boat reels from the beach. Then we got smart. When we was in high school, me and my buddy, we we'd get the younger kids when they would go out surfing, go out on their boards. We'd give them we'd give them the bait, give them the rig, and they would swim all the way out about 400 or 500 yards and out to one spot. That was the third reef, and they would drop the line there. Once they dropped it, they would wave, and we would set the reel, and then you just wait
Yep.
because we couldn't cast that far. So we was like, man, we need to get out further. That's how we did it.
Yep. Oh, I
And
watch
you come back
videos
in,
doing
we'd give them food, drink.
it. Last year I was watching a lot of saltwater fishing and how they, from beaches, because we were heading out to Florida. I'm like, maybe I'll bring a rod out so we can beach fish. And I ended up not doing it, but I was thinking about getting a kayak, going way out there with my, line out there and drop it where I want it and
Mhm.
kayak back in. And I never did it. I wanted to get on a shark or something, but never did it this year or last year.
Man, in Hawaii, you always catch sharks. You catch the smaller 3-footers, but
Yeah.
it's still a shark.
Oh, I'm sure they got power.
Never
Oh, yeah.
caught a shark. My saltwater fishing is limited. I think I caught barracuda. That's the only thing I ever caught saltwater fishing. And that was on my honeymoon that long ago. We were going to go before the lockdowns happened. We had actually booked a trip to Cabo, right? I was going to go
Mhm.
fishing for mahi and wahoo. Those were the two fish on my bucket. They're 2 fish on my bucket list.
Oh,
And
wahoo is good fish to
that put
eat.
yeah, they put an end to that. That trip got canceled.
Oh,
Yeah, wahoo, that's a very good eating fish.
I'd like to go redfish fishing. Heck, I'd like to go chase saltwater drum. That looks like fun too.
yeah, those things get big.
Check.
We
You ever go
we went out
redfish
last.
fishing, Mark?
What'd you say, Lance?
If you ever go chasing redfish, go down to Galveston, Texas.
That's on my list. I want to go to Galveston. Galveston's
There's they
that's
still got the oldest pier there,
yeah.
and you walk straight down. It's a long pier. You walk all the way out to stay right in the middle. And you get you some blue crab. You go to the bait shop, they sell blue crab, and it's cut in half.
Uh-huh.
That's number one bait for bull red.
For redfish too. They use whole ones though, the little crabs.
Yeah. We would go to the bait store, the bait shop in Galveston, and we'd buy like 5 pounds of blue crab, and they already had them cut in half. My biggest redfish is 50 inches. So
Son of a gun.
very first, like I was telling Adam today, that was my very first redfish in Texas. Went out, had my dad's 12-foot rod, spinning reel, put a blue crab on there, cast it out. Probably about 30 minutes later, that reel was screaming, the rod was bending. I didn't have a pier net. I'm looking at the fish down below in the water. I'm like, yeah, now I got this big fish down there. I can't get it up. Guy came over, dropped
one of them
the pier
nets?
net. Huh?
Somebody had one of them pier nets out there help you out.
Oh yeah.
Somebody always does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came over, dropped his net, dropped the pier net down. I walked the fish over to the net, and he pulled it up, unhooked him, put him back in the net, dropped him back down. But you talk about a fight.
It's like that here downtown too. When you're perch fishing, if you hook into like a lake trout, somebody's always got one of them pier nets, and that'll help you because that's like a 12-foot drop. You ain't never going to get a regular net down there. And if you got, you're fishing with 10-pound braid or 6-pound mono, you're not getting a lake trout up.
Oh no,
drop no.
That's like my. Hey Duggar, I modified my buddy's net so when we fish like Port Washington, because that's a far drop. What I did was
stop bragging, Stan.
I got a painter pole, the extendable painter's pole, which that'll extend out to 10 feet. So that reaches down perfect.
Ranger Nets sent me 2 nets. I don't know why, but people like sending me nets. They sent me a big old 50-inch hoop muskie net that I use for flathead fishing. They sent me one of them. That's what I had if you look at pictures of my PB flathead, it's laying in the bottom of the boat in that net. So people are like, that fish ain't fit. They don't understand that net is 50-inch net and it's still curled up inside that net. They don't understand it. And then they sent me a crappie net that extends to 14 feet. What am I going to do with that?
Wow.
I don't spider rig. I can only have 2 poles, 3 poles max in the water. So,
jeez.
All right, guys, I'm going to step down. I'm going to go eat some leftovers from dinner. I'll be in chat, though.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
I'm probably gonna end it.
All right,
'Cause
Adam, we'll
Yeah.
see you. We'll see
I
you
ain't
next
ate
week
all day.
or the week after next.
Yeah,
Thanks
for
for coming
sure.
up, hanging out, Mark.
Thanks for letting me be on here tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks
no
for having us.
problem, man.
It was great talking to you, Mark and Lance.
All right, bud. We'll talk
Yep.
next. We'll talk the week. Well, we'll talk when are you heading? When are you going to be out there? When are you arriving?
I believe Thursday, which is the 11th.
Okay, the 11th. Okay.
And next week I'm going flat. Next week is opener for Flathead, so I'm gonna go
going
next week.
flathead fishing right after that. That's when I start after Mendota. I should have my 30-pounder by then. So
All right. Oh, I'm going. I'm going before Mendota openings next weekend. So
what? For
I don't
flathead?
think I will. I don't have high
Thanks,
hopes for
dude.
next week because it's been in the 40s for like the last week. So
Yeah,
That's why I
horrible up here.
started trying to figure out walleye so I can do something in them lulls. Like what flathead I used to be in that flathead race. I had a couple years where I was like the first one to catch a flathead on the Fox here in the
Yeah.
local area, right? And people would hate me for it. I ain't even joking. They would despise me for it. I did it like 2 years in a row. They did not like that. And then and then I got that big fish and that was good. And then I had a couple of years which I had like 50 fish in a year, and people don't like that either. But I'm fishing 3-4 nights a week. That's a lot
Yeah.
on the Fox here in
Yeah.
Illinois. But now it's like, so there's the lull, there's the spawn where it gets really, really slow, and there's when the bites just starting to warm up. I'll let everybody else warm that river up for me and let me know when the bites. I'll start
Yeah.
going after them. I'm getting
That's
older
what-
and smarter,
That's where you start looking at the Facebook feeds
Yeah,
and
thanks for
seeing when
coming
it
in,
starts picking
man.
back up.
No, I don't even have to do that. These guys send me pictures like, hey, they're hot. You should get out there. I got them
Yeah.
here or there. I'm like, why you don't tell me this? I don't want to know. I want to figure them out.
Well, in Wisconsin, like when we first started fishing, it wasn't really popular. It's starting to get more popular in Wisconsin for flatheads, unless
Yeah.
it's just me, broad or kind of broadening my aspect of Wisconsin.
You're becoming more aware of the
Yeah,
scene because
but-
it's pretty crazy here. But when I think about it, there's way more people out there fishing for smallmouth, way more people
Yep.
fishing for muskie, but
Yep.
the flathead scene here and a couple of places that I've had exposure to is pretty darn hardcore.
Oh yeah.
All these people talk about sharing spots and stuff, whether it's for channel cats or blue cats. That don't happen here in the flathead world. Nobody will tell you a darn thing.
Where are you from, Mark?
I'm in McHenry County, Illinois.
Do you have blue cats down there?
Nope.
Nope. How far do you have to travel to go to get them?
I got my PB blue cats a whopping 8 pounds, bud, and I went all the way to Ohio to catch that bad boy.
I'm
could
still
go down-
searching for one.
I could go down to the power plant lakes, or I could go all the way down to Alton. But then again, that's a long trip. And my big old diesel truck hauling that boat, that's $300 in fuel.
Yeah.
And I'd rather put that in the bank account for my next boat because that's going to be my last boat, and it's going to be a nice boat. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm not cheap. You can call me frugal, but I'm not cheap. So I'm not a cheap ass or a tight ass. I'm just I like to manage my money well. So
yeah.
All
right, well, I'll let you get going on.
Another thing is like, Josh gives me a hard time because I try to figure out, I want to come down and fish with him, but it's a 5-hour trip. That's a hotel stay again, that's $300 in fuel, $200 all said and done for a hotel room for the night, $150, whatever it costs. I'm not real big on camping. I don't know why I'm camping in Mendota. I got talked into it. But other than
Did you camp last year? You didn't camp last year.
No. The reason why we're camping is because they wouldn't let us hang out in the back behind that hotel or that motel. We used to hang out back there and put our chairs out there and start up a grill and shoot shoot the poop and hang out and have our shows back there and stuff. And there was a construction crew there last year that they were drinking a bunch of beers and stuff, and they didn't like that. So somebody called the cops because they felt threatened. And then they told us we couldn't do that anymore. So that kind of ruined it for us. So that's why we're camping.
All right. Well, I'll let you guys get going. I got to get some sleep myself. I've been up since like 4 a.m. and haven't really eaten much.
Almost going 3 more hours, be 24 hours straight.
Yeah.
Man, I don't squeak when never mind. We won't get into it, Dave. All right, fellas,
All right,
have a good one.
Yeah, you as well.
Everybody have a good night. See you guys in stand day.
Later.
See ya.
All right.
Keep on
Later,
hustling.
guys.